going on, everybody? It is October the 14th, just after 11 p.m. Eastern, here outside of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. This is Fandom Empire, and we are going to just have a parade of people on this show tonight that are fresh out of seeing Halloween Kills. The day has come. I guess the night has come. The journey is not over, but we finished a chapter of it. It's been a lot of fun along the way. Let's introduce the panel for now. The panel's going to expand, though. First up, what's going on, Johnny?
Oh, not... I'm in the haze, just having just come out of it, about an hour ago-ish. So I'm... I got some stuff to say, Kieran said it best when we were driving home. It's good to have this opportunity to just vocalize the thoughts in your head so they don't fester.
I'm just going to say this might be the one of the worst possible movies to do a instant reaction spoiler review to, because it really does feel like the type of movie that you're supposed to let simmer for a little while, see a second or third time, and see how you feel about it. So I want to preface this by saying our thoughts tonight might not be our thoughts next week or the week after, and most definitely probably not 6 months from now. Also joining us tonight, the J-Man's in the house. What's going on, Jason?
Good. Thank you all for inviting me and joining in on the Fandom Empire experience. It was my first movie in like 2 years at the theater. I was hoping it would be better, but yeah, we're gonna talk about this movie because there's just like Johnny said, there's some stuff, man.
This is the brilliance about, and I'm going to say this right now before we introduce anyone else, is I'm not going to come on here, and I hope nobody else is going to come on here and say, this movie's terrible and I have no interest in seeing the third installment, and then a year from now start doing a bunch of coverage for the movie for clicks and views, and we're not those people. Those people can't even get the actors right in certain scenes. So yeah, that's shots fired. I'm just kind of sick of certain content creators, and we're here to have a good time. And I can guarantee you not everybody's going to be on the same page, and I can't wait to hear what everyone thinks. So everybody in the chat should know that ahead of time. Also joining us, he's so close I can touch him. Tommy B, how's it going?
Let me try it. No, okay, I'm not going to do this. Okay. Hey, what's up? I'm just going to begin by saying that was a fucking magical experience. Is my fucking...
Oh, you know what I can do? Can I see this for a second?
You know what I can do for like the...
You fuckhead! I wanted to do that!
Oh, you're coming...
I was fucking muted.
Someone is echoing severely. There you go.
Okay, I was not muted. Well,
yeah, okay.
We learned. This is weird. This is a new experience for me. So,
I guess I can do this and not get in terrible legal trouble.
Yeah, I guess. We'll find out soon, won't we? So, yeah, I'm just going to begin by saying that was a fucking magical experience. I'm happy to have been able to share it with y'all in theater, my first movie. Jason and I shared that we both haven't been to the theater since Rise of Skywalker. For the great experience that was. So, hey, we got a long night ahead of us. So I'm looking forward to diving in.
Also joining us, he didn't think he'd get to see it tonight, but he did end up getting to see it tonight. Time is a funny thing. Sometimes timing works out. It's Kieran. What's going on, man?
Yeah. Everything worked out perfect. It was crazy, but yeah, I'm doing great. I'm actually like super pumped. I wholeheartedly agree with Johnny that it's really hard to, say like, oh, I loved it. It was spectacular. I have opinions on it, but if you ask me to rate it like, out of 10 right now, I just tell you to go fuck yourself. So.
Well, I guess you're going to tell me to go fuck myself later, but we're all going to rate this movie out
of
10.
Damn it!
With the option, of changing our score later on.
You had to know that was coming.
if it wasn't, I shouldn't have said anything because he would have changed the plans anyways. Anyways, I'm doing fantastic. So yeah, go ahead. Ask Maddie if he fell asleep.
Matt, I heard you made it through the movie successfully without falling asleep, but also got to use the washroom.
I had to go piss. You got piss. But I also had read the script, so I knew where to go, when to go. And I was probably gone maybe 3 minutes. If that.
Mike, did you miss anything significant?
No, but that man definitely did not wash his hands.
Hey. We're still in a fucking pandemic. Wash your fucking hands.
By the way,
Nasty shit.
If you're new to the
Wash
channel,
your face.
if you're new to the channel, this channel is not PG. The most PG we get is when the IPC podcast is on, and
we're podcasting from outside and trying to keep polite for the neighbors.
Yeah, one of those guys will be on tonight. This is much like Halloween Kills, very rated R, and if you take offensive language too seriously, this is probably not the stream for you. Mike,
nobody's wearing Tommy's shirt, are they? We can point that.
He wore his yellow sweater for me. I feel privileged. Mike, how's it going, man? You finally got to see it, dude.
Yeah, and I can tell by the panel and the reactions, mine is way different than what theirs is going to be. So I'm ready for this.
How can you tell?
I honestly, this is going to be therapeutic for me because I don't like, if someone's like, hey, what do you think of the movie? I'd end up just like talking about a bunch of shit while trying to figure out how I feel about the movie. I'm not saying I hate it at all. I'm not saying I love it at all. I'm going to figure out during the stream how I currently feel about this movie. And I have an idea. It's sort of a story of two tales. Dean, I know you're listening right now. You just nod your head if you're cool to be added in during the non-spoiler stuff. All right. Joining us for the first time ever on Fandom Empire live stream. It's Mr. Mean Dean himself. What's going on, man?
What's up, everybody?
How you feeling?
What's up?
I'm good. Mixed reactions to say the least.
I was pretty positive you were going to come in here and be over the moon, but the fact that you have mixed reactions actually makes me feel a little better about how I'm feeling.
Hey, now. Hey, you see, I'm going to turn to look at you. You need to be a true fan.
Oh God.
There was a lot of those in my theater.
Was the best fucking movie ever.
Oh God.
You see the shit we deal with here at Fandom Empire?
I can see.
This movie is the best.
Best thing you ever saw.
Oh shit.
All right. Well, without further ado, because we know Zach is going to jump in during the spoiler discussion, which is probably about 10-15 minutes away. Let's go around the table here. There's 8 of us on. Let's figure out how we feel about this movie. And let's hang on. I'm gonna try to queue up an order here that I like. Well,
Oh, so fucking Dean gets. We know he's been on the show once and he's second.
You know what, Kieran? Just for that.
Kieran's last.
Should have did last.
Everyone's gonna say all the smart stuff I was gonna say already.
So we'll go exactly in the order it shows as myself, Dean, Mike, Kieran, Tommy, Jason, Johnny, and Maddie.
See the best one.
So for me, and try to keep it to like a couple of minutes at most, guys. We have a bunch of time to get into the spoilers. The movie was just horrifically paced. But not only did we say that it would be horrifically paced from the people that we know that got to see this like a month ago, and some of them a year ago, I knew going in this movie was not going to have a good pace. It's just, and then when they started to chop it up in the editing room, which is very noticeable in this, the pacing became more of an issue. So it's not a very well paced movie. I'm very conflicted with how I feel. It's definitely far from the worst Halloween movie. Like, don't even dare mention this as like one of the worst Halloween movies. I mean, I guess it's subjective, but for me, it's pretty black and white that it's not that. All in all, it was an enjoyable experience. I loved getting to see it with the people that we got to see it with. It was almost a private screening. We definitely seen extra people sneak into that theater because there was only 4 tickets other than ours that were sold, and I think there was 8 people that walked into that.
Don't even get me started on the other people in our theater.
I didn't think they were bad.
You didn't notice the guy get up from literally the other side of the aisle and walk across the entire row to get out to go take a piss break in like the middle of the movie?
Never mind that. Some fucking asshole was sitting right beside me, checked his phone 15, 20 times.
Yeah, that's what he does during a movie, which is why I like to not sit beside him during a movie. But anyway, I don't know. The movie was terribly paced. The acting in it, I think there's some prequel trilogy Star Wars stuff actually in here. I thought the acting in it was fine, but I knew going into the movie that some of the dialogue was at best. I know Jade was sitting beside me. I don't know if she's going to end up popping on or not. And she was basically going nuts over The Evil Dies Tonight. It was a bit much. And
a bit?
I'm very conflicted right now.
Just a little bit.
Other than I think everybody should give this movie a shot. For sure, go and see it. But as this stream goes on, I'll have a better idea how I feel once we get into the spoilers. But yeah, it's a terribly paced movie. I absolutely get why non-Halloween fans who see this movie would be like, oh, fuck, this sucks. Like, I'm just being honest. I could totally see my dad going to see this movie and being like, what the fuck is this? But I can also see Halloween fans going to see this movie, whether they're fans of the original one or fans that do like the sequels, and going, you know what, this was an enjoyable experience, but I need time to, really feel it out and see where I stand. Dean, how about you, man? What was your experience like? Keep it non-spoiler for now. Anything surprise you?
Yeah. So I had high expectations going in, and then upon the whole first watch, I had almost the same effect that 2018 had. By the end of 2018, I kind of had that like, oh, that's it moment. My audience was brutal. What you guys were talking about earlier, people on phones, chewing, rolling snack bags, laughing at everything. I was just like, Jesus, God. So that was a little rough. But the pacing, like you mentioned too, bit all over the place. I feel like they try to jam too much into the whole story and they didn't know where to go. So it was just like jump from all the different storylines because they're trying to show us so much in one film.
Do you have anything else you want to add, Dean?
For the start, no, we'll keep it short and sweet. We'll get moving.
Just give Dean extra time there, Sean.
Mike,
guy.
How you feeling, man?
Actually, I'm feeling really good, to be honest with you. I really enjoyed this film. There were things that stuck out to me that I didn't like the pace of it. Terrible. I thought the dialogue was pretty bad as well. But one of the reasons why I feel like I enjoyed this film so much is because despite the delay, the wait, I lowered my expectations because I didn't want to come out of the theater like I felt in 2018. Like, I came out of the theater in 2018 giving that movie a 5 out of 10. I was very disappointed. I think I enjoyed this movie a lot more because of this movie was more about Michael Myers. I enjoyed the kills. And I go back to just kind of lowering my expectations. I enjoyed the flashback a lot. It gave me goosebumps, to be honest with you. But I had fun with it. I wasn't crazy about the ending. It is what it is.
Believe it or not, the ending used to be worse than the one we got. So
yeah.
So but that's just like, if I really want to nitpick. I mean, honestly, when the credits stopped, or when it started rolling, I literally said, "Wow, I don't know if I said it wow in a good way or a bad way. It's just wow came out of my mouth because I've only seen 2 Halloween movies in theaters. That's both. Oh, I'm sorry, 3. Both Rob Zombie movies. I'm sorry, 4 now. So yeah, I mean, all of them I was pretty disappointed in. So being overall, I'll just keep it short. I actually really enjoyed this film.
Andy says some guy got up calling everyone a pussy and threw popcorn at me. It was crazy. I'm not suggesting that you should have done this, but people like that need to just be put on their ass once in a while. So, Kieran, non-spoilers, man. How you feeling after this, dude? You almost didn't get to see
actually, yeah, I know. I guess that probably affects my opinion because I'm mostly positive. There are lots of things that I didn't like about this movie. The pacing wasn't an issue for me. It was very odd pacing. Very odd pacing. However, the transitions I thought were great, and I'll get into that later. I thought the way they transitioned, and it was really quick and odd pacing, so I understand not liking it, but I actually found it to be great, and I'll get into that later when we're being spoilery. But in a non-spoiler thing, this is how I feel about movies when I go to see them in the theater. When I go to the theater, I want to forget that I'm in the theater. I want to be in the movie. I go to movies sometimes that I'm really, really hyped for. And, they come out. Rise of Skywalker is one of them. I know we mentioned and hate that movie here, but I went to the theater and I did not once think that I was like immersed in Star Wars. It just never happened. It didn't happen the whole time. I always felt like I was being critical of it. This movie, there was parts where I was being critical, especially at the start. It's hard not to because we do the channel. It's hard not to, just sit back and be a critic instead of watch the movie like a fan. But there were quite a few parts where I was really immersed in there. At one point, I noticed my jaw drop, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm sitting in a theater. I'm not in any danger from serial killers right now." So yeah, I have an overall positive view of the movie right now, and I had a fantastic time at the theater. So I'm a big theater lover. But yeah, I had those moments where I got sucked into the movie, and it sounds like the major issue that you guys are having, the pacing, actually wasn't really a problem for me.
Interesting. Tommy B, man, how you feeling?
Well, I feel like that movie was a piece of shit. Nah. I did legit say that to Kieran as soon as I walked out of the theater. So, 2018. We are 3 years removed now from, 2018, the movie. And honestly, the way it started, for me personally, I feel like it got the ball rolling. We're not starting a brand new, night here. We're just starting a new chapter or a new act, however we like to phrase it, to something that's already in progress. And I think they did a good job doing that. The kills in this film were extremely powerful. Some folks in the theater were visibly affected by some of it. I don't think they were necessarily expecting that. It dropped some jaws, right? And the movie definitely earned the title Halloween Kills. There were some parts to it that were just a little bit over the top for some folks. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I'm not really someone who gets bothered too much by we might say cheesy lines. It doesn't irk me the way that it irks other people. I don't mind the evil dies tonight because it's the setting, right? It's the people who are saying it and what they're doing at that time. It doesn't bother me. And you know what? It's a little premature, but I'm going to stop because if I keep going, I'm going to get to spoiler territory.
Now,
Nothing wrong with
I just want to ask a wide question real quick. I want to step in. I heard the whole Evil Dies Tonight was a big thing for everybody. So going into the movie, I counted how many times it was said twice, and then outside individually, it was the chance. So to me, I didn't really think it was OD, to be honest with you. The chance got annoying, but I was going in there thinking like it was over 10 times by the people's reactions. But because that would annoy me if it was. So I went in there counting how many times it was said just to see what that number was going to be.
It just felt like they shoehorned that line in there. I thought that was the problem. Like it was like
I get that.
It didn't seem natural, and in the conversation at either time when it happened. And that's all I'll go into for now.
Kevin Dustin says, no lie, somebody took a giant shit in our theater and the entire theater reeked. The movie had to be stopped and the theater evacuated. I caught a later show. Holy shit.
Holy shit.
What the fuck?
Matt
Wow.
Whitfield, how dare you?
I have questions. So, like, did this person drop their pants and like just let it all out in the middle of the aisle, or like is this some with like incontinence issues, or like I just have questions. I really want to know how this went down.
I wonder if it was Terrence giving his review of the movie.
Terrence was oddly missing tonight.
I mean, Terrence will probably cash it on Peacock, right?
Yeah, the Peacock.
The Peacock.
The Peacock. Jason, how you feeling, man? Non-spoiler.
Mixed, really mixed. It's a frustrating film, kind of, and I heard that about 2018 as well. This film starts off so great, and then I found myself starting rolling my eyes at scenes, and I was just getting taken out of it, and then it picks up again. Kind of, you're like, oh, it's gonna get going. Stop with these cringeworthy lines, and then it kind of stops again. And the third act third act, really good. It's the middle of the movie that I found the writing just falls right apart, and it's frustrating. But if you go into it, a slasher film, like a good old slasher film, I think you can enjoy it better. But a long time ago Jamie Lee Curtis went on and said something like the best slasher ever this is going to be. I did a little video saying you better watch what you say, and this is far from the best slasher ever, in my opinion, guys. So just like Tommy said, there's a lot of meat to get. They throw a lot of icing and not enough cake. Some character development I would have liked to see more with some characters. So, yeah.
Zach puts out there, Phantom Empire, did you hear about the extended cut we're getting for the Halloween Kills Blu-ray? It was just announced today. Yeah. Don't count on much, though, for the ending. I'm telling you. But there is an extended cut, and there's supposed to be, again, I don't know if we're going to get this with the Blu-ray and the 4K, if they're saving this for like a trilogy pack. But there was extensive behind-the-scenes stuff shot for Halloween Kills, so it could be a pretty loaded physical media set. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it's coming, and they chopped up the flashback too, to be honest. Like the first 5 minutes of the flashback is basically gone. So yeah, no, they definitely cut some stuff, and maybe we'll see that stuff back. Johnny, not spoilers, man.
The word being used most that describes my feeling is mixed. There was a lot of good things to take away from this, but there were also a lot of negatives to take away from this. There were entire sequences and scenes that watching, I just felt like, why? Who gives a schnickerdoodles? Like, I feel like that way in a lot of films, but this one had some points where I felt like not just characters, but elements of the characters were kind of shoehorned in such a way that just detrimentally. I'm not going to say names because that's more spoiler, and I'm sure I'll talk about them later on in the spoiler segment. But it just, I don't know. I mean, I felt like some of it was too over the top, in certain ways. Like, I 2018 felt more close to the original. This one felt more like the sequels, and not
Johnny also
necessarily
does
in a
this
good
in the
way.
theater. Johnny also does this when he's at the theater. He's watching the movie and he's like,
Yes.
everything that didn't make sense. Everything that didn't make sense for sure. He was like,
I can see why you would say like that. I want to make sure I say this right. The current timeline stuff in Halloween Kills feels more like the sequels, but because we get those flashbacks, there's no way I can say that 2018 feels more like the original than Halloween Kills. That just feels asinine. But we're all entitled.
Leaving the flashbacks aside, I guess is kind of the point, because obviously they're true to form, but everything else isn't.
Matt, how'd you feel, man? How many P's did you take? 5, 6, 7?
No, just one. I've had when I came out of it, I was a little I was pretty excited, and I was going with Mike was giving me a ride home, and I think we were sitting around 9 out of 10, and I think I've dialed it back just a smidge. I'm still giving it an 8, but the pacing, the dialogue were my big two issues with it. I was not a big fan of how the I guess you could say the mob versus Michael was done.
You didn't pay attention.
I think that could have been so much better. Huh?
I said that script you were referring to in the pre-show chat, you must not have read very carefully, because they let you know during the script that that's exactly how that's shot.
Yeah.
I knew going in, you like tempered expectations for it.
Well, I mean, I think I was excited, but my expectations were different. I think I going in, I knew this was going to be better than 18. I knew that without a shadow of a doubt. But I was the prequel. I mean, not prequel. The flashback was so beautifully done, and I'm like with Jason. I felt really good about the first part and the second. I mean, the first and the third act. In the second pack, if they had tweaked just a few things with the second, it wasn't much. It needed to be tweaked, just a few things. But it was still strong, better than 18, like I hoped and expected. And hopefully I can keep it around 8 as more and more times as I watch it.
All right. So we're going to do things a little different tonight. We have a special guest joining us, joining us, and we're going to let them give their non-spoiler review, and then they're going to follow it right up with their spoiler review. Let everybody know now, you can chime in as they're giving their spoiler review and ask them questions on things. We have them for a limited time. Without further ado, he is the host of the IPC podcast, and he's joined tonight by his significant other, Edna. It's Mr. Zach Arnold. What's going on, guys?
Hey, man. Thanks for inviting us on. It's a real pleasure to be a part of something that has been literally like months in the waiting for this channel. Like, so much discussion and so much build up, and it's finally paying off tonight. And like, we went and got tickets like last week to make sure that we were getting it at the right show time, and that, you know, we were making ourselves available to be part of this. And we're breaking up the sausage fest a little bit here, guys. Come on, what the fuck? Get a female on here every now and then. Like, I looked at it and it was like Sean and then Tommy and then Kieran, and I'm like, I'm sure you guys all have great dicks, but there's just too many on this screen. Okay, like,
sure
what
Jade,
the hell?
Go get Jade.
I'm pretty sure Jade's sister's scared shitless somewhere right now, and Jade is upstairs with Jensen. So,
well, regardless, it's great to be here, and we actually spent one of our evenings, I think a week or two ago, watching the original movie and then the 2018 film to kind of like get ourselves ready for this film. And so I don't want to speak for her, obviously, but I feel like the way that these two end up going back to back, the 2018 followed up immediately by this one, very, very different in tone, very, very different in execution, literally and figuratively. So there's just a lot to dissect and a lot to process, and I kind of agree with some of the sentiments earlier that perhaps a second viewing is worth it to fully take in what this means for the franchise, because essentially it's supposed to be like the Empire Strikes Back of this trilogy, when in reality there are times it felt more like the Attack of the Clones of this trilogy.
I agree.
I think there's a bit of both of those movies in there, to be honest. I think that's a fair assessment.
Yeah, so that was probably my initial thoughts, but I'm going to pass this to her to give her thoughts too.
Maybe catch up the audience on what she thought of the original in 2018 as well.
Yeah. What did you think of when we did that double feature, the old school and then the new school?
Yeah, I mean, I never seen the movies before. I've always heard about them, but thank you. Yeah, it was. I like them. Oh, thank you.
Little closer.
I enjoyed them. Honestly, like I'm not invested in the movie franchise as much as probably a lot of you guys are, but I just enjoy scary horror movies in general. So I enjoyed the new one. I mean, the one we just finished watching. Like I enjoy seeing the I guess gory scenes of blood and guts, and I'm sure like as a true fan, like that's probably like, you know, something that wasn't seen as much on the original, but or the first one. But I enjoyed it, and I appreciated the flashbacks, because it gives context to people that, you know, don't know much about the movie. You know, I like that. I appreciate that. So yep.
So we're gonna let Zach and Edna give their real quick spoiler review, and then the rest of us will go back to the beginning of the movie and walk all the way through it. But
Do we have like a spoiler alert?
Yes. Let's get those. Thank you, Kieran. Spoiler alert! We're in the dangerous territory. Just give us your thoughts, your likes and dislikes of the movie, and be as spoilery as you want.
Man. You know, I hate to lead with this, but I think like the best written part of the movie was something that was included in the trailer. And that's something that I really, really don't like about movies in general, is when they take something that's like the best part of the film and it gets included in the trailer. But when they're driving away from Laurie's house and the firemen are heading that direction and she's yelling out, "Let it burn! Let it burn!" Like you feel the sense of urgency in her voice, trying to like desperately call out to somebody that's not listening and tell them, you know, that there's something evil afoot, essentially. And you know, by responding to that call, it costs all of those firefighters their lives. And the chainsaw death was actually really fucking cool. I know that it was probably pretty tropey, but I enjoyed it. But I think the thing that the two things that I enjoyed the most was how there's a thin line between courage and fear. And we see that in the mob mentality at the hospital. And we also see it in the two teenagers who decide to go into the Myers house in the third act. Like the line between courage and fear gets towed so many times in this film. And you know, the former inmate who commits suicide is a victim of the fear side of the mob mentality, but then Cameron is a victim of displaying too much courage at the wrong time. And so those were a couple of the things that really stood out to me. Obviously, like Edna mentioned, the guts and the gore was definitely taken up a notch, but I assume that's just because they had a bigger budget than they did from the last movie. And so I feel like there were certain deaths that they probably wanted to have more attention for in 2018, and they just didn't have the money for it. And they made the most of the opportunities that they had with the deaths and how graphic they were. Some of them were probably a little over the top, but I think that's more meant to keep up with the horror slasher genre that is today. 2018 felt more in keeping with the 78 film, in my opinion, as far as some of the off-screen deaths and some of the off-screen playing with the lights and the senses, much like the original film did. This one feels like it's more catered to the type of audience that is somewhat desensitized to violence and wants to eat up as much of it as they can. And that's exactly what this movie delivered.
I would agree with a lot of that. The 2018 1978 parallel is interesting. I think Johnny was saying something similar to that earlier. What did Edna think of the film, spoiler wise? Anything that stood out to you that you really liked or you didn't like? Because I know for some people this movie is a lot. Like whether it's the deaths or the tone or some of the subject matter, there's a lot in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I enjoy the death scenes where they how.
Which one did you like the most?
Man, I was just thinking about that. I mean, there's obviously a lot, but I think one of my favorite ones was one that Michael didn't do, which was when the mental health patient jumps off the building, and just the fact, how he landed, like with, he just looked
it was
unhuman. Like it was just I really enjoy that. I mean, it sucks that it happened, but I thought it was they did a pretty good job with showing how graphic that fall was, and kind of showing like what happens when people kind of lose their minds, and what what can happen when there's chaos and kind of like losing control of that.
I thought it was interesting that the chaos was concentrated by having the mob kind of form in the hospital. It took a while for it to reach the streets, and so by having it in that enclosed area, it actually kind of helped fuel the fire a little bit, because there's a lot of people tripping over stairs and trampling people in the hallways and stuff. Like, it really kind of helped emphasize just how frantic everybody was. And unfortunately, it was the inmate that suffered the consequences of everybody else's frantic energy. But yeah, Michael had a few times where he influenced people's mentality, but wasn't necessarily directly responsible for their deaths. The inmate was one of them, but then I think one of my personal favorite deaths was the black lady that's a doctor that was like swinging the handgun around in the park.
Yeah.
And like the door just flies open, like Michael's just getting out. And it fucking turns around and goes right in the face, and like that's a headshot that he didn't even do. Like there were so many times that he was able to like disperse the bullets and send them a different direction, and that was probably one of my favorite ones, because like out of everybody in that car, I felt like she had the best chance of surviving, and then she had the most awkward death.
Me and Johnny both laughed out loud at that part.
The nurse?
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Johnny both had like a try to hold it back, like during that part.
He did kick the door. He made the bullet ricochet back at her. That's exactly how the death plays out. So, any final thoughts, Zach and Edna? What would you guys score this out of 10? And what did you like better, 2018 or Halloween Kills? I know it's early. You're totally entitled to change your mind later on, but recency bias fully intact. Which one are you going with?
I mean, please don't judge me on my score. I mean, I would give it like, I don't know, like 7.5 out of 10. I just, like I said, I really enjoy the death scenes more than anything. And I enjoyed this one. I mean, both are pretty good movies, but yeah, this one probably kind of stood out to me most.
Okay. I think I was a little upset at the pacing. Like, it felt like the flashbacks were poorly timed in a lot of cases. Maybe the first third of the movie was able to transition pretty well, but then from there on out, it didn't do quite as good of a job. And so it made it hard to like completely immerse yourself in the story, because the story kept jumping around from person to person, from flashback to present day. But all in all, I would probably have it in a very similar area, actually, probably around a 7.5 to an 8. But I think I have 2018 closer to like a 8.5. So it's a pretty narrow margin, but I think 2018 still ekes it out. But that's not to say that I didn't enjoy the movie or the experience. I feel like there were some execution things that could have been tidied up a bit, especially considering they had an extra year to work on this film. Like, it got postponed, and this is still the final product that they put out. Like, there's definitely some cause for concern there. But as a whole, it's a good follow-up to what we originally saw. It includes the rest of Haddonfield in a very applicable and practical way. And it sets the stage for what seems to be a very dire situation in the third movie, because all of the people that were trying to take care of Laurie, trying to protect her in this film, they're gone. Like, everybody that cares about Laurie, except for her granddaughter and the sheriff, Hawkins, I think his name is, like, it's the three of them. They're the only ones that are basically left. Like, everybody else is gone. All the people that survived the stuff from 78, they're gone. All of the loved ones that are like supposed to be closest to them, they're gone. So it's just the three of them. And the whole town rallied against Michael, and he still was able to retaliate. So for three injured people, like, even Allison, like, did something to her knee in this movie. So, like, with all three of them banged up and Michael back and stronger than ever, apparently, it just gives you a very weird sense of like what could happen next. I like that about this movie, but I'm also like a little hesitant to rate it anything higher than maybe an 8. So
That's fair.
set 7.5 from her, 8 from me, and you said you like this one more than the original.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
no, I enjoy both very much, but if I have to pick one, I'll go with this one.
Yeah, that's fair. So this one for her and 2018 for me, probably. But again, as you mentioned, there's a lot of recency bias involved in those picks and scores.
Yeah, people's feelings on things will definitely change as time goes. We know you guys got to run, and I believe we have someone else joining us soon too. So, where can everybody find you at?
Well, this was her first major podcasting appearance, so please give it up for her. That's a really big deal to brave those types of conditions.
Fantastic
IPCs.
job, yeah.
Not to mention 130 live people listening.
That's yeah. She can't see that in the studio.
I was looking.
Oh, yeah.
How many
She's like-
people are on?
Yeah.
No, when
Yeah,
he says that,
closed-
he means 130,000. There's 130,000
Yeah,
people
really.
watching this right
Yeah.
now.
Great.
Goodness.
No, but the IPC podcast is still going here on the Fandom Empire channel. I'm doing football broadcasting right now for a local high school team, so I may not be on the podcast for another 4 to 5 weeks or so, but looking forward to coming back. I've been away for a while. You can follow me at Zach the Voice on most major platforms at ZACH the Voice, and yeah, that'll let you know when I'm back on IPC and stuff. But that's pretty much all I'm doing right now is football and IPC.
Awesome, man. Do you know how Mondo felt about the movie off the top of your head?
We talked about it in the parking lot a little bit. I think he concurred with me about the appeal to the desensitized audience, and he's a little more classic in his takes on slashers and thrillers, and so I think he enjoyed this movie for what it was, but probably also leaned more towards the 2018 film because he said that it reminded him more of the off-screen circumstances that happened in the 78 film. So he and I were pretty similar in that mindset, I think.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks guys for doing this. It was nice meeting you, Edna, and can't wait to see you guys again.
Yes, sir. Thanks, guys, for having us.
Bye.
All righty. By the way, someone in the chat earlier said that there was only 15 deaths in this movie. I don't know what fucking movie you were watching because it wasn't this one.
Maybe in one scene.
Yeah, that's not at all accurate.
He killed like 8 firefighters.
I was
Like
gonna say, I
11.
think that's accurate for like the first 15 minutes.
Yeah,
The
11.
closest to an official number I've heard starts with a 4 is all I'll say.
Wow.
I was gonna ballpark 30 something. So
I knew it was more
wasn't
than
that far off.
31. I think it might be 41, but until I see it again, we'll have to wait and see. All right, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna start with we're basically gonna just sort of dissect the movie as best as we can. I think just free for all. It could get crazy in here. You might have one person jumping on another person about how they feel about things, but let's just have some fun with this. If you guys want to support the channel, you can feel free to do so. Sign up on Patreon, patreon.com/Fandom Empire. It is in the graphic bar below, or you can send it a super chat to have your questions and or comments read on air during the stream. Jerry sent in one. How was Loomis? That seems like a good place to start. Dean?
I liked Loomis. It was awesome to see him back on screen in the film back in 78. It gave you that 78 feel. I think they pulled it off pretty nicely. I kind of heard before the film was coming out that it's kind of hit or miss, and then you see it, and the likeness is there, the voice is there. Although his part's pretty short, he's kind of in and out until later in the film. But Loomis was definitely a good callback. It was great to see him back on screen.
Yeah, I think I'd have to follow up with Dean on everything that he said. I got goosebumps, man. It's I was talking to Matt and a couple other fans after the movie, and it was honestly kind of scary how just alike he looked. Especially I don't think they use CGI at all. So the fact that they were able to pull this off in the way that they did, even though it was short, I was very happy with Loomis, very happy with the role that the character who played Loomis did, voice, his demeanor, all of it felt very, very well done. And I was very happy with it.
Check the private chat when you guys can. Go ahead,
I
Jerry.
thought the look was great. I thought it was very believable that it was Loomis, and that, even somewhat believable, if you didn't know that the actor passed away, I mean, wouldn't make a lot of sense. But if you're brand new to the films, it'd be believable that was the same guy at the same time. I did not like the voice though. I thought the voice was off for a bit. The first time I heard it, I thought it sounded like Michael Caine, which was really weird. I don't remember the line delivered, but by the time he got to the part where he said, did Michael kill again? It sounded more like Loomis. I didn't like that line so much, but I was happy to see him. And I'm somewhere in the middle for this. I didn't get goosebumps. And Loomis is my favorite character. So maybe I'm being a little bit judgy, but it was good. It wasn't like, it wasn't bad. I didn't think it stuck out as anything bad, but I also wasn't wowed by it.
Well, I think the good thing here is they didn't fuck it up, right? That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
important
Oh, yeah.
thing. So
Right.
Yeah.
It's so hard to pull that off.
So I'm not gonna lie, the Loomis stuff. I mean, hey, we've been calling it like the worst kept secret about this whole film, right? Not that secrets were something they were ever good with. And when the Loomis stuff leaked, I was very critical about it. I said, these images are shit. They're so dark, which apparently so is my camera. Sorry. And I just didn't, invest much in it. I'm like, well, hey, I'll see it in the theater when I see it. And I finally got to see it tonight. And I will say, I'm extremely pleased with what we got. Donald Pleasance, rest in peace. He will always be the Dr. Loomis for, I will say, arguably the majority of the Halloween fan base. And whatever they did, whatever Halloween, whatever Hollywood magic they used to cook this up, I think it was good. It's not perfect, and it was never going to be perfect, but I think they did a damn good job. I hope I'm not being overly positive for this panel or this audience, but I think they deserve a little bit of praise. You know what I'm saying?
I think we're probably all in pretty much the same agreement with how they pulled off Loomis.
Yeah, Loomis was done really well. In fact, I think the whole flashback, I felt like I was back in that 78 movie. The best it even had, I don't know if you guys know, did you find it looked a bit more gritty?
Yeah.
Opposed to the, that's what I got. And that, I love that first movie so much that I was just like, yeah, I love this. I love this so much. And I didn't think they were going to show Loomis's face. I thought it was just going to be like from behind him. So I was like, oh, they're actually showing Loomis. So I thought that was great.
Yeah, I mean, when you have those,
you have those shots, not reading the private chat. When
you have those shots where you're using someone who has, passed on, it either looks good or it just takes you out of the moment and looks awful. Thankfully, this was the former, definitely not the latter, because it looked like, if I did not know that Donald Pleasance had passed away, I would legitimately have thought for a moment that was actually him. It looked that good. How they achieved that? Witchcraft, straight up voodoo. But
go ahead.
But it looked so perfect. Like, even in the voice, it had that Donald Pleasance throatiness, I guess, would be the best way to describe it, that Donald always had. That I smoked a pack a day for 20 years effect. And it sounded proper, and the way he moved around and acted, and the scene later on is the big one, where he goes to take the shot. It was all just so real that, like I said, if I didn't know Donald Pleasance had passed, I would have legitimately thought that 94-year-old Donald Pleasance had come out and shot these sequences, because they were very short and it would be believable in a weird sort of way.
He's muted.
All right, we'll just skip that since he has nothing to say.
Matt's having a rough go of it.
Shit, damn it.
Again.
Well, I mean, I think. Shut up. I think
Matt stood up.
We all
like he went like this.
Wake up! We're talking about Loomis.
Hey, shut up. Yeah, I did fist bump Mike, because I kind of looked at Mike. I was like, they fucking nailed it, and he agreed with me, because I mean, if the flashback does not work, if that flashback is not as good as it was, then this movie's got a lot more issues than we suspect. I think the flashback set the table and kind of like lifted our expectations of what this movie could be. But then we came back down to earth with the second act, and then we went back with the third.
Just a big gamble. It's just a big gamble to take, you know. I mean, especially to really start off the movie like that. I mean, you're really taking a huge gamble to either lose the audience or, you know, keep the audience going and interested. So to start it off like that, I mean, that was ballsy. But then again, you know, they knew that, you know, they were in their bag with that. Like they had that. They knew that it was going to hit.
I've had concerns for a long time about the flashback, not the flashback itself, but the people would like it so much, and then they get to the rest of the movie and sort of be like, well, why couldn't we have had more of the flashback? And I can tell you, just walking out of our showing alone, I heard that from a few people.
And I think.
Go ahead, Matt. Finish it off.
And I think it was kind of. I don't think they wanted to overdo it with the flashbacks, because I don't think they wanted to let it dictate all of the movie. So they gave us just enough at different spots to kind of keep it, almost like keep us interested in everything, because they already know we're gonna love the flashback, and they sold it. And then they were saying, well, let's throw this part of the flashback in right here, pull the audience back in again. And then there was parts of like going back to the store, the present timeline. You just like, and I can understand why people are like, well, let's go back to the flashback a little bit more. And I mean, like I said, the flashback, they couldn't have got any better. They're using the blue screen and everything, the blue lighting and everything that you almost saw right out the bat when you first see Michael in front in it. You see that blue screen?
That blue lighting is
like, right. That's what made 78 so good was the mood, the lighting, the atmosphere, kind of, and McRaeism. Yeah. By the way, somebody sounded like Dave McRae tonight, and I kind of like that.
That is true. That is true. Somebody did tell him that. I'm like, what the fuck?
They were not drunk or high, but yeah.
Anthony sends a $10 super chat. Sorry, Matt. Many things are up to date. But after viewing this for a second time tonight, James Jude Courtney's portrayal of the Shape continues to cement himself as the best Myers outside of Castle.
He's right.
I don't know how anybody. I mean, it's all subjective, but like James Jude Courtney is the best Michael Myers, in my opinion. Nick Castle had one movie that was done one time in a 28-day span. And don't be wrong, it's legendary. He paved the way, but you have way more eyeballs on these movies than what was on those movies back then. And I think that matters. But I do want to point out, because I've heard this multiple times now today, and I'm not saying Anthony is saying this, but just to be clear, James Jude Courtney does not play Michael Myers in the flashback.
I enjoyed that, Michael.
Ooh.
Like, I really, I was getting goosebumps there. Like, that one jump scare there in Judith's room, where it's kind of like Bob's kill.
Yeah,
and he's just smack like
out of the corner.
I think this actor needs more credit, because he nailed it as far as I'm concerned. Absolutely, just incredible. I thought.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. And as disappointed as I came out of the theater in 2018, I had no complaints with Michael. So James Jude Courtney is just continuing to hit it out the park.
I feel the opposite. I actually did not like Michael in a lot of the flashback. Not specifically the part where he was attacking. He was pretty cool and brutal when he was attacking, which I thought was great. The shot where he's shooting at him and he just kind of turns and walks away, I thought he looked like he was like, doing like a military march. He, turned on spot and went like this, and it made him look soldierish, which I didn't like. I didn't like the way that he was kind of walking when he was coming towards Lonnie when he was a kid. I didn't like that. And right when he came out to charge, I thought I didn't like the way he did it. I did like the violence. I thought the violence was amazing and slamming him up and all that stuff. I thought was great. I thought the walk was not as good, which honestly, I was thinking about that, and I thought it was weird that I felt different about the flashback. And then, Sean drops the bomb I didn't know is that he didn't play him in the flashback. It was noticeable for me, for sure. And I did not like the way that just his walk, which I've been paying super attention to how Michael walks lately because I have to get that down for myself. But anyways,
Yeah.
so
I think there's
stuck
stuff
out
like
to
in the TV cuts that I've seen like that were not in the movie. Like for instance, I don't remember in the movie unless it's just like when it went in and out of my mind. I didn't see Michael pop out from behind the bush like in the TV spot. Like I don't know if that was in the movie. If anybody can confirm, I don't remember seeing that. I was really looking forward to kind of seeing that stalkerish type of thing, but didn't see that. So I guess that just didn't decide to make the movie, and they decided to stick it in the TV spot.
I thought Michael was fantastic in the. I know we're sort of out of order here, guys. So maybe let's just start fresh on this one. I'm going to add to Anthony's question. Just thoughts on. And if you've already said your piece on it, then feel free to just move it along. Just thoughts on Michael Myers in this movie, James Jude Courtney in the current timeline, and Aaron, I can't remember his last name, in the flashback. Dean, we'll start with you, man.
Yeah. Flashback Myers, I loved. That's super nostalgic for me. I was disappointed that they gave away that jump scare when he grabs that cop in the trailer, because that would have been awesome to see. It would have been so suspenseful to watch that scene unfold, and then we don't know what's going to happen, and then boom, Michael pops out of the side and grabs that cop when he's staring out the window and starts slamming him against the wall. I thought the kill was great. That was awesome. So I loved all that. It just would have been so much better to see it on screen for the first time instead of spoiled by the trailer, but we all know how that goes.
While you're there, and we can they didn't show too much in the trailer talk now. They fucking did. It's clear as fucking day.
Clear as day. Yeah.
And if you think otherwise, I'm sorry. I think you're fucking brown nosing Universal.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 1,000%. It's one of the first things I said coming out of the screening was like, yeah, well, they tried to say that the trailers didn't show too much. They gave, I think, the best parts away. Which is unfortunate, but that's what they do. As far as James in the rest of the movie, fantastic. I loved it. I mean, we all know he's probably the best since Castle, give or take on. Everybody's going to have a different opinion. Definitely my second preference behind Castle. I like what he did with the role in 78. But James has definitely picked up the torch and ran with it. In a great way, and I'm excited to kind of see where this goes for ends, because the way it ends, and I'm sure we'll get to it later, leaves things kind of open with a few different options, which I like. So we'll see where they go.
Mike,
everything Dean said. I already commented on James. I thought he did absolutely phenomenal once again. And like I said, to harp back on 18, I didn't come out of it with high ratings or very impressed with 18. But Michael has never been a complaint in so far in this trilogy for me. So that's huge. I thought the kills that he did were creative. And then the flashback. I mean, like I said before, I got goosebumps throughout the entire flashback. It just felt like I was in 1978 again. And that was my biggest worry about the entire movie was the flashback. And honestly, I just don't think they could have nailed it any better than what they did. I thought they put just the right amount into it. Not too much, not too little. So I was very impressed with both Michaels in this film.
Yeah. I like that you said that the creative kills. We recently talked about what our favorite Michael was, and I mentioned I think it's H2 for me. The reason being is because he's so sadistic in that movie. He comes up with some really, he has someone bleed out with a tube there. He has someone, stabbed in the eye with a syringe or with a scalpel. But either way, he's very creative and sadistic in H2, and I felt like this movie, James Jude Courtney, was definitely that way. Like, stabbing that guy over and over again with different knives, and just kind of, he was already dead. He brought him over to stab him again. He was like, let's try out these knives, see how they feel like going through flesh. Like, he was definitely, sadistic, and it's weird in a weird way. He's kind of like doing like a science experiment when he kills people. Sometimes he's like, I wonder how this would go if I killed someone this way. You can see the curiosity. And I thought that James Jude Courtney was absolutely amazing in this movie. I thought he was amazing in 2018, so I concur with you guys. He's fantastic. And even though I was disagreeing with you guys how I thought Flashback Michael was not as good, 2 points on that. That just proves how great James Jude Courtney is to me. Like, I noticed the difference, and I didn't know there was a difference. I didn't know that he wasn't playing him the whole movie. I did know he wasn't playing with him the whole movie, because Sean mentioned that before, but I didn't know specifically Flashback, not Flashback. The other thing is, even thinking about the way that he was in the Flashback, attacking and being brutal and violent, I liked that, and I thought it was great. I thought that scene was great. But if I compare that to a very comparable part where he pops out and attacks Cameron, I thought when he attacked Cameron, it was way better. I thought that scene was way more powerful. Obviously, it's a character that you care a little bit more about, and, well, I guess that's everyone's opinion, but it's a character you follow in the movie. I felt like that was better. I felt like that was more brutal, and it felt way more Michael Myers just to me. So yeah, James Jude Courtney, fantastic work in this movie. I give him a 10 out of 10 in this movie. I don't know what I'm going to score the movie yet, but yeah, James Jude Courtney, 10 out of 10.
Anthony Laundry had sent in a super chat earlier saying Aaron Armstrong was outstanding. That was followed up by Tim, who's one of our biggest Patreon supporters. Says, just walked out of the movie, boys. This was a great watch. Flashback was epic. Tommy, thoughts on Michael Myers in Halloween Kills?
So I haven't seen like Rob Zombie's H2 in its entirety, but I can easily say, like,
Good for you.
I'm still not off the hook. Sean may still try to sit me in front of it while I'm still here. We'll see, right? This is the most ruthless we've ever seen Michael Myers.
Yep.
These kills, they were gruesome. I'm sure, not in our theater, but I'm sure in other theaters, there were people who may have been more sensitive, nothing against that, and threw the fuck up in response to it. I'm sure there's somebody. And I'm not... What?
Oh, nothing.
And I'm not complaining. It was... like, if we never get a Michael Myers this ruthless ever again, that's totally fine with me. Like, and that's not me saying anything bad. Like, it's like an expectations thing, okay? The title of this film, Halloween Kills. We were going into this expecting the high kill count. Those of us who read the script, we knew this was probably going to get pretty, some gorish to an extent, but I think they surpassed the expectations of many. Some of you folks can disagree with me if you feel so led, but just as far as that was concerned, I think great freaking job. There are complaints that could be made about this rendition of Myers. We don't have the stalking to the extent that Michael was frequently celebrated for. We don't have the the creeping. Michael Myers is a fucking tank in this movie. And to me, that's totally okay. But hey, I've been looking at this script that is now sitting open to my right a year and a half now.
Yeah, a little more than that.
Yeah. So that's okay with me. And it's unfortunate because it's not the same for everyone. The one thing I'm going to move just slightly off top before we move on to the next person, and we'll probably talk about this more in the coming weeks. The shorter script has never failed me, honestly. There's a larger script out there. I looked on my computer for it. I couldn't find it, and I'm not going to go find it right now. I'm finding lots of changes in dialogue, things that I wish were not cut out. And it's unfortunate. You know, one of the big things we can talk about, if not tonight, in the future, is there's some real confusing elements about like the transition from the Myers house to the mob scene back to the Myers house, like what the distance is, how far Karen's actually running. Because this script I'm looking at, if I'm reading it correctly, it makes it sound like she's back at the hospital, but like Tommy just drove Karen to the Myers house. So like, how did she just like, you know?
She's only a street or two over.
You know what I'm saying? This is sounding kind of weird. Like, what's going on? I mean, are we jumping? Is there like a skip of like 15, 20, 30 minutes? We can tear that down. We can compare our ideas and another time.
I just want to let everybody know what's going to happen here is Jade's going to join for a second and give her a real quick spoiler review on the movie. And then Jason, Johnny, and Matt are going to finish up the Michael Myers portion. We do have super chats. We will answer them as we can. We'll just keep some of the answers shorter since there's so many of us to go through. And then once Jade gives her review and Jason, Johnny, and Matt finish up with Michael, we're going to just go in the same circle we've been going in, but each person's just going to bring up the thing they want to talk about most in this movie. And we'll go around the circle a couple of times because I'm sure some things won't get talked about, and we'll get there. But first up, it's my better half. It's Jade. How's it going? How you doing? You're muted. We cannot hear you.
Oh.
We have no audio from you.
Why don't you yell upstairs? Hey, turn your audio on.
Nope. Still nothing. She gone.
She's probably gonna walk down here.
She gone.
Here she comes.
It's caught onto your thing. I don't know. I have no idea. Okay. Yeah, they can still hear you.
Is this on?
Yes, I think. No.
Huh, you lied.
Sean, just get up and let her sit there.
I really liked it. I didn't think that I went into it with a very open mind. I didn't know any spoilers. Sean's been really good with not spoiling it for me. But I thought that the funny parts were like they were good. I didn't think that it was overdone. Like the older gentleman at the beginning of the movie, like Laurie's neighbor, when he was just like, "Holy shit, there's a big guy in a monster mask in the bathroom." That made me laugh, but that's also because that would be exactly my response. I wouldn't be like, "Oh, hey, what's going on?" Like the wife when she's just like, "What does he want?" I don't fucking know.
I'm gonna get crucified for this, but I'm gonna follow you up on that. I thought the comedy in this movie was completely fine. I had absolutely no problem with it whatsoever. I thought it was way more than what Julian was in 2018.
I didn't feel like it.
So Sean, I'm gonna follow you. I'm gonna follow y'all two up as well because
John thing it was.
Hang on, you guys are talking over one another.
Oh, sorry, I'm not wearing headphones.
Oh, right, you can't hear anybody. I don't know if they'll reach.
What did you say?
Hi, Jade. It's Mike. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I know who you are. I can recognize your voice.
Oh my God.
No. So I was just. It's funny because when we walked out of the theater, I was telling Matt this. I was like, I felt like there was more funny parts in Kills than there were in 18, but they fit a lot better in this movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Despite more comedy, so I totally agree with you.
Yeah, no, so I really liked that. I really liked that it felt more natural. Even with the sheriff, near the end when he's just like, "No, that's not the way we do things." Everything else, I know a lot of people in the chat earlier were just like, that sheriff has to step it up. But I don't actually agree with that because like he was following procedure. He was following what he was supposed to do. So sorry. He was in shock, yeah. What else was there that I'm just like, the fuck? Oh, I really liked the callback to H3 too. Like, fucking loved that. My sister on the way home was just like, I didn't really understand why Michael put the masks on those people, blah, 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 whatever. I'm just like, well, one, he poses as victims, so like most of the time. But two, like it's a flashback, like it's not a flashback, it's a callback to it. And I had to explain it to her, but that was kind of annoying, but whatever. The other part, I didn't really like the Big John, Little John part, not because of them as a couple. I loved that. But I didn't like the fact that when he posed them, it was the same pose that was in the photo. I did not like that. That part just didn't sit well with me. It gave me heebie-jeebies. As far as like it being too gory, there was a couple parts where I'm literally gagged. Like when the other patient like committed suicide, I gagged. I couldn't do it.
I seen you with just the downward shot.
Yeah, when it was falling down, I'm just like, oh god, nope. And then like I could hear my sister like squirming beside me. And then when Big John got stabbed in the armpit, I laughed at that because I'm just like, oh, he's gonna have an itchy armpit. What else am I missing? I don't fucking know.
What do you think of the movie compared to 2018?
Honestly, I liked it better than 2018. Oh, that's something I didn't like. I felt like you might not like this opinion, but whatever. I feel like if you were sorry, Zane. I feel like if you were watching this movie, you should have watched 2018 and 1978 beforehand, because I felt like it was too much of a flashback at times. Like, yes, to like have Tommy come up and like be like, hey, this is our story. Yes, because he wasn't really mentioned in 2018 or anything else. But like to have too much of a recap was just a little bit too much of a recap for me, because I'm just like, okay, well, we just finished watching these fucking movies. I don't need to hear it again. It's the same as like when you're watching a TV show and they're just like, this is what happened last week. Bitch, I'm binging. I don't need a recap.
Would you give it a 10?
Maybe like an 8.
Yeah,
8 bitches out of 10.
That's fair.
8 bitches out of 10. Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. Now I'm going to bed.
All right.
Hi, Jade.
Night night.
That way.
Wait, who said hi?
Oh, I think we all kind of said bye, and I said night night.
Bye, Jade.
I'm leaving.
Somebody said, I bet that's not the only thing she gags on. I
mean, they're not wrong.
No, they're not wrong, but I still remove them. Anyway.
I need to say something real quick.
Oh, right. You're in the room.
We have to see about gagging.
I'm going to be a real douchebag for a minute. So I'm pretty sure this person is been in this streams previously several times.
Are we talking about the same thing?
No, we were talking about someone different who I just timed out. So they're going to have the chance to come back. I'm pretty sure they can still watch this.
All right.
So I'm not going to talk forever about this. I'm just going to say it real quick. Calm the fuck down. It's a fucking movie. Don't fucking tell people to go fucking jump off of bridges and stupid shit like that. What the fuck?
Wait, what happened? What did I miss? What am I missing here? What happened?
You should be able to see the fucking comments.
It's not showing.
Yeah, scroll back. Fuck, jeez.
I have a different screen.
All y'all in the chat need to take a chill pill. Just all of y'all.
Scoot over.
Well, it's not everybody. It's not. Well, it's not.
No. The specific people that are just going back and forth at each other for the last 40 minutes that just need to everybody bring it down a notch.
There's nothing wrong with a healthy debate, but like, let's be real here, guys.
Okay, but I've literally, called out people.
For real, we're not emulating the fucking movie. It's a fucking movie. Calm the fuck down.
As we said off the top, everybody.
One more thing. I also, if I ever hear people die tonight, I will fucking shoot somebody.
I already
just said
Dies tonight.
Yeah, no, guys. Hey, people are allowed to have a different opinion. Guess what? I don't.
People are allowed to not like the movie.
Yeah. I don't think the original Halloween is the best Halloween movie. Not only do I not think it's the best, it's not my favorite either. Kieran loves The Last Jedi. I hate it. We all hate The Rise of Skywalker, so we have that.
I've disagreed with.
Last Jedi.
I think I've disagreed with almost everybody here on something already.
People are allowed to have their own opinion, and if you don't think so, then go watch someone's channel who panders to the sheep and just says what you want to hear. So, anywho, Jason, your thoughts on Michael Myers in this movie?
The flashback Michael was absolutely terrific, and this is where I have to disagree with Kieran on this, where he said he moves like a soldier. For me, in that original film, he's very methodical the way he moves. He's very, like, when he gets up, he rolls his shoulders back. And there's a certain method to how he's doing everything. The head tilt. For me, that flashback Myers was just incredible and probably my favorite part in the whole movie, the whole sequence. James Jude Courtney. Before this movie, Nick Castle was still my favorite. And actually, my favorite Michael moment of all time is him breaking through the closet, which is not Nick Castle. So there's that too. But I think James Jude Courtney's the best Michael now after seeing this. I love the way he moved, the kills, the way he just looks at people. There's certain head tilts and certain, and I think that's we got to give the cinematographer a lot of credit. The way they shot Michael in this movie was extremely a lot better than 2018. I found it helps, so that's all at night too, though, and they're not turning lights on in the houses and everything like that. So I like how he's in shadow and everything. But yeah, they both knocked that out of the park, that flashback and James Jude Courtney, like just incredible stuff. Absolutely. Yeah.
Johnny, quick thoughts here on Myers in the movie?
I mean, I don't have any issues or gripes to, comment on Michael's performance in the film. I mean, I felt it was exactly what they were trying to portray. Like, do I agree with all of the things that they had Michael do? No, but that doesn't fall on the shoulders of James Jude Courtney. He can just take the direction he's given from the producers, the directors, the writers, and everybody else, and make it work. And he made it work. You can see the progression of Michael throughout the course of the film, from almost human-esque in the flashback, where he is very human, and very normal, to the progression as we continue through the course of the film, as he gets more and more, I don't want to say supernatural, because we don't 100%. I mean, it's safe to assume that that's kind of where it's going.
He is 100% supernatural. There is no doubt. I
mean, at the end, I think it's pretty clear that that's the case. So I'm saying, like, as you see the course of the film progress, you can see him becoming more and more of that type of, being. Like, you can hear it sort of like in Laurie's comments and statements and the things she's saying, like with Brackett and Hopkins, not Brackett. When they're in the hospital rooms talking about, how he becomes more with more kills, and it all just progresses in such a way that is authentic to what they're showing us. Like, take personal prejudices and predictions and thought processes and shove them out the window, because they're not relevant anymore. You only get what's presented to you. That's it. And he performed it phenomenally well. You could see the progression in Michael throughout the course of the film, and it was performed phenomenally well. I have to agree that I think James has become my favorite and probably the best Michael.
Yeah, make no mistake, Michael Myers is supernatural at the end of this film. We've been talking about it on our Patreon for quite some time now.
It's just a question of how and why and what.
And don't forget, even though you'll notice that in the movie it was far less prominent than it is in the trailer, but the kid Michael shot was not from the flashback. I've watched quite literally thousands of people say it is for the last month or so. And it's not. It's what Karen sees up at the window. That's your first sign that, oh, what the fuck? Something's not right here. And she goes up and Karen gets sliced and diced. We'll all have a chance here to answer some super chats and give our just talk about what we want to talk about. But Matt, quickly, what do you think of Michael in the film?
I thought the flashback Michael was brilliant. I didn't have a problem with how he kind of walked, like Jason said. Michael walks very methodically. I think you see different kinds of walks with Michael, and I think with what he had to work with, as far as script and what David Gordon Green wanted, I think he did perfect. And James G. Courtney, I mean, he's embodied the essence of Michael and everything he does, and he's the best Michael. I used to big fan of Nick Castle. I always liked George Wilbur, but James B. Courtney is Michael now, the best one by far.
He's great. It's hard to pick apart anything James Jude Courtney said. Mike only has 15 or 20 minutes left, so let's sort of speed through some of these super chats here, and then we'll get into the other stuff. What was the most shocking moment, not necessarily death, in the movie? I can't answer that just because I don't think I was shocked.
We've known this script for so long.
Dean was trying to stay spoiler free. What was the most shocking moment in the movie?
The suicide. Like, I didn't see that coming. Would have never guessed that POV shot was somebody falling off the building, like from the hospital, that wasn't a victim to Michael. And then to see Tivoli come back, and then, he gets scared from the mob coming after him, breaks a window and climbs out on the ledge, and you're like, wait, is he really going to do this? And then you just see him take that dive. The POV shot was cool. It wasn't shocking to see that when it happened, but to see the aftermath, when they pan back and they show his body on the ground and you see his head split open and the leg in one direction and just his entire body just mutilated from that fall, that was a shock. That was pretty ballsy. I was really surprised to see them do that.
It was stomach turning for sure. Mike?
Mm-hmm.
No, I agree with Dean 100% because that was just something that I just wasn't expecting. In my opinion, that didn't even register in my mind that based off what we saw in the trailer that was going to happen. I thought that they were going to break in there and just beat the man to death. That's what I thought was going to happen. So when he decided to jump out the window, and then like Dean said, when it panned back to his body, I was shocked to see how fucked up his body was.
Kieran, you read the script. Anything shock you?
It didn't shock me because it happened, because I knew it was going to happen. But when the male nurse got stabbed right through like his eye socket, like I was like, ooh. I definitely had like a, because he tries to attack Michael. He brings is it like a rope or tries to choke him or something? Was that what happened? I don't know. He goes to attack Michael, and then it's just like he like no sells it, and then just like fuck you, and
he tries to choke Michael with his stethoscope.
Michael's is like, I'm like, that's a comedy moment when he looks at him almost like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. I don't know why. I kind of like, I knew everyone was going to die there because I read the script. I knew that was, well, I mean, I guess one person got away, but I knew everyone in the car was going to die. But yeah, I definitely kind of popped up a little bit and was like, oh shit, at that point.
So, someone can correct me if I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
But prior to, well, I'll just go fuck myself. But prior to the images and trailers coming out, I don't think we had any indication of like that. What was it, merry-go-round and like hanging by a tree with the silver shamrock mass. So I don't think we had any way of knowing that. I think it was the doctor and nurse couple and Chambers. That was them in the mask.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we knew that prior to the movie. Is that correct?
I knew it was going to be
together from the script. Yeah.
Hang on. Are you asking if we knew that was them on the merry-go-round?
Did we know prior to seeing the movie just tonight that was them?
Oh, fuck yeah.
We did.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I never made the connection. I assumed it was just, the kids. The kids are dead, but Michael also doesn't necessarily make a habit of killing kids too.
Well, we know at least one of the kids is dead.
Mm-hmm.
So,
at least one. Well, right. you would kind of assume they're all dead.
Yeah, you would because he has the mask, but That's not something we see on screen too, right?
I mean, didn't the kids that ran ditch their masks?
Two of them got away. One of them's definitely toast.
Mhm.
And the other thing they don't show in that, at least in this version of the movie, is he's legitimately playing hide and go seek with the kids, and for a while, and like it's one of the creepiest reads of the script. It's like, oh, that's fucked.
The man in the white mask, he just appears.
We're not three.
There he is.
Jason,
I'd say that was unrealistic for kids, but I hang around kids at school. Like I work at a school, and they are that fucking annoying and sarcastic and fucking pieces of shit.
Kill him.
Jason, most shocking moment for you, man?
Well, the easiest one would be the patient jumping off, but I'm gonna go with the demise of a character. We are spoiler alert, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Tommy Doyle. And it's also a negative for me. If Tommy is truly dead, because do we even know that? Like,
I think he's dead.
A knife in the throat.
I would love to like hope that he isn't, but I'm pretty sure he's toast.
Yeah, so I think that's a negative too, though. But it was I was like, okay, I thought he'd be one who'd survive. I thought it would be Lindsay, the one who was going to get killed and serve his arc better. And I know Jamie Lee's the face of the franchise, but I think they killed the wrong people.
I see what you're saying. By the way, now that everybody's seen this movie, how much was Jamie Lee Curtis in this movie again compared to how much they were showing her in the marketing?
I think she was in the marketing more than she was in the movie.
Yeah. We know what we're talking about here is what I'm getting at. Johnny, most shocking moment for you.
Wow.
I mean, you stayed spoiler free for a long time, considering where
completely. I mean, I had no indication of what things. I mean, I knew things out of context, like I knew flashback, I knew mob scene, but I had no context for those catchphrases we used a lot of in the build up to this. But I mean, shocking for me, I really can't point to anything specific as shocking because it was all kind of, I don't want to say predictable, but it was readable. You know, there were no kills. Nobody really died in the film that I was like, oh my God, I didn't think they were going to end up dead. Even, you know, as far as Tommy at the end, I kind of figured he was going to go out in a blaze of glory just because of that whole sequence. You know, I'm going to go down fighting. And that's literally what he did. So, I mean, I kind of figured that was coming then. I guess if anybody getting killed shocked me was probably Karen. But she was such a Karen throughout that whole movie that I was just like, yes, please. But nothing. Yeah, I mean, seeing the Silver Shamrock masks was shocking in a different way because I didn't expect that callback.
Oh, I mean, they were literally. You didn't watch trailers. That's right.
Correct, sir.
Smart.
Matt, what was the most shocking moment for you as someone who's read the script? You're muted again, sir.
I want to say Tommy. No, I want to say Tommy. Because, yeah, I'd read it, but just to actually see it. And I mean, like you said, is he really dead? I mean, not Brackett, the other one. Hawkins got stabbed in the neck. And there was so much backlash. They brought him back.
I think there's a difference between being stabbed by Sartain and being stabbed by Michael Myers, though.
I think he got a bat to the head at the end too, though, didn't he?
He did.
He did. Yeah, he might be over for Tommy.
He's done.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, on screen versus on paper, it just felt more shocking on the screen than just reading it, to see it with your own two eyes and how it plays out. I think the suicide scene, because didn't you, Sean, say that scene was not supposed to be in the movie?
The way it was shot two different ways, and they ended up going with the POV shot. But there is a shot where you were supposed to see, like, if you were the one on the ground, you literally see the figure just.
Wow.
So I wonder if that's going to be in the extended cut. But I did notice that was actually in the movie. So that's one thing that we've gotten wrong.
Yeah, so those pretty much are the two shocking parts to me.
All right, let's go around the table here. Pick a couple of things that each person pick a couple of things they want to talk about. And since Mike's on a time limit, I will switch spots with Mr. Mike Bish. First, though, Matt sent in a super chat. I prefer how the ending was originally supposed to go down in the script. The phone bit worked for me. I do miss that the phone bit's gone. The phone bit was cool, but I don't miss the very last thing we got to see in the script. I thought it was terrible.
Can that be summarized quickly for those of us who've never read the script?
Okay, so it ends with Lori standing in the hospital holding a knife, and everybody's just walking past her, and that's how the movie ends.
That trailer shot, right?
The trailer shot, yes.
Yeah.
Where is it? I don't. It's not on that one. It's on the one up there. Fuck.
And then she says, "Evil dies." Next movie.
Yeah, the knife she had is the one that Allison had put under her bed.
Right.
When she left, yeah, it's that knife.
Anthony says final kill equals complete psycho homage. Yeah, I would agree with that to an extent. Was Karen's death changed a bit? That whole area of the movie was changed a bit and altered heavily in the editing room. Mike, what are a couple of things about this movie that you're really dying to talk about? Obviously, we'll have an opportunity to talk about other stuff as the weeks go here and we do shows. But right now, what are your couple of things you're picking?
Really, I just want to talk about my favorite kill, and then I guess I'll just go ahead and give my rating into the movie, my reaction of what I thought walking out, and then now kind of settled in for the past couple hours what it's at. But we already touched on the flashback, Loomis, Michael. Told you everybody what I didn't like, what I liked. So really now I just want to talk about my favorite kill, and that I just thought was badass, and that has to be Cameron's death. I mean, the fact I felt like it was drawn out in such a good way, such a painful way, and then to walk down the stairs and then turn to Cameron and just snap his neck like that. That is so badass. I really wanted to get up and just be like, oh fuck yes. Like I was all in for that. So that was my favorite kill in the entire movie. So many good ones you can choose from, but that's the one that really, really got me going. But really, like I said, overall, I just really enjoyed this film. I did temper my expectations, so maybe that's why. But I just enjoyed it as a fan. I thought this was, like I said, this was a Michael Myers film. That's what I wanted. I thought 2018 was. Now I think it's a solid, good film. I have that probably about a 7.5. And I walked out. I was going to give this film a 9, but I'll dial it back a little bit to an 8.5. I really enjoyed this film.
8.5 is a great score. I think that's an awesome score. Is this?
I didn't expect it to be that high though. So I'm happy about it.
Is this where we lose you, or are you going to stick around for a little bit?
I could say about 5 minutes.
On the subject of Cameron.
Oh, I like Cameron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know you do. Cameron is something, again, I've done this throughout the stream. I've noticed looking back at this script, they've taken out some things they were supposed to use to develop on his character. They were supposed to have like a little longer of a sequence with the car ride with Lonnie, right? And during that time, Lonnie was supposed to, ask about Allison and Cameron being together. They were supposed to have an exchange. And this doesn't, affect any of the it does affect the overall plot of the movie, right? Because it affects the character of Cameron. And everyone that I know to a certain extent have been saying that Cameron really gets a good redemption arc in this film. And I feel like for those that were really looking forward to that, that might have suffered a little bit.
I mean, I think so. I would agree with that. I mean, I don't know where his redemption arc would have came into. I mean, to me, all he did was just apologize for being a dick. I mean, other than that, I mean, I don't know. And obviously, he helped
in this movie.
You said what?
I didn't think he was a dick at all in this
Oh
movie.
yeah,
I
no,
thought-
neither did I. That's what I was saying. The whole redemption thing. I don't get. He didn't really do anything. So, he did save Hawkins. Maybe without his phone call, Hawkins wouldn't be alive.
It makes sense. It makes sense for his character too, because there's a lot of kids out there. They're complete dicks when they're around their friends and whatever. But like, you get fucking scared to death. Like, you're not being cocky anymore. Like, you drop back down to your basic human, operating system, and you're back to being human as opposed to being this persona that he probably had. So I feel like that, like, some people might think, oh, well, his character really changed. And it's like, no, he just fucking ran into what he ran into now. Like, his friend just got fucking murdered brutally, and he found this cop who got stabbed open. So he fucking, in shock, back to, your basic human.
I really enjoyed Michael getting back up after the mob scene and just demolishing everybody. Yes. I obviously didn't think he was dead, but I honestly wasn't expecting really that either. So, I mean, he just literally woke up out of a fucking raid and just went bonkers on everybody. I really enjoyed that scene.
I think I would have liked that scene better if it wasn't slow motion. I get what they were going for. I knew it was going to be slow motion, so it's not like it was like, oh my God, but like, I thought it was a little slow. I think it would have been badass to see a little more of that quicker. So,
oh man, someone's getting whiny.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Tommy.
I won't miss you.
Tiny second.
Yeah, he gone. Hang on, just for Mr. Parker.
Ooh.
Vince McMahon cameo. Dean, what couple of topics are you going to bring to the table here, man?
Let's go for my favorite kill. Even though we saw it in the trailers, fire escape sequence. Awesome to see him come out from Laurie's house and then down the steps and then just take that Halligan and just start ripping through firefighters. And even though, like I said, we saw it in the trailer, when he lifted the firefighter up with that bar about 5-6 feet in the air and then just ripped it out, dropped it, and then turns around and grabs that saw and turns it on the other guy. Just insane, crazy. I like the fact that they kept it sort of a mystery, that we see the one second firefighter go in, look down in the hole, reach his hand down, and we see Michael reach up and grab his arm, and then we don't know what happened. Did he drag him down in the hole and then probably take him out too? Most likely. And then after that, we still don't know how he fully got out. Like, how did he climb up? How did he get out? But that's part of his character, so I don't think we need to see that. So that was awesome. And then I guess I'll go to stuff I didn't like. Was a lot.
Wait.
Go for it.
I need to stop you there.
Yeah.
I fucking hated the firefighter scene.
Did you
just
really?
like I thought I would.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Absolutely hated it.
Wow.
How do 8 firefighters all just line up like this? Like, kill me next.
Yeah, right.
Don't worry, guys, I got this. Don't jump in. I'll kill him with my fucking Halligan weapon or whatever. Like,
right.
and the part where he uses the saw to kill the guy's slowly like, this is really heavy. I'm just gonna really slowly put it. And Michael's like,
yeah.
Oh, I don't. Oh, it was like it was like slow motion wrestling, like a test of strength. They were like, no, Michael's stronger. Fuck, you're
to be fair though, I volunteered firefighter for
Don't be fair.
6 years. That shit is heavy. Those saws are not light. And then I saw comments about why the hell would a firefighter spray Michael Myers with water? Well,
that makes sense though.
The water pressure.
Right.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to. I'm just saying, I saw a bunch of comments like that. In the movie, it doesn't look like the water pressure is really obviously it doesn't affect him, but it doesn't look like there's that much water pressure.
No.
I'm telling you, that shit hurts.
Yeah.
You would
that hose will fucking blow you away. That's definitely realistic. I've already talked as well about how lifting a person up like this would make you fall over.
But
I kind of got over that. But just the idea that all these firefighters, like, you could say they were all in shock watching what happened, but
that's what I was
it wasn't
gonna say.
portrayed that way. It wasn't shown that way, that they were like that. They didn't.
No, it's
all
it's
fight
like
together.
it's like they
didn't
wanted
all
to squad
do-
up with them.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. He pulled out the
They
axe.
look like they look like they were a tough gang, and they were like, okay, let's get this guy. Like, and then they fucking all just waited where they were like statues and let him come and slowly murder all of them. So
I do find it funny that the mob at the end worked better as a team than the firefighter unit. That's
very true. Yeah.
Like one of the people in the mob looked like Jenna Fisher from The Office, and she walked by and she was fucking mean mugging him. Like, she's like, I
when
can't
she
wait for
stepped
my
in front of
fucking turn
Karen.
to beat up. And like, those guys fucking took it to him. Big strong firefighters with weapons.
Nothing, right? Oh yeah. Yeah, I could agree with that. I was gonna say probably that shock value if you see this dude walk out of a house on fire, holding a Halligan bar, ready to come out and just demolish everybody. I'm sure you're probably shitting your pants. But yeah, no, I can see where you're coming from for sure. And then I'll go, I guess, to like kind of my.
Sorry, 1 second, Dean. I think Tom.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's not important, but like if you ever wonder about the pressure of a fire hose, I don't recommend doing this on a person.
Nope.
Do not.
Get yourself a pressure washer, okay? Just shoot it at something that you're not afraid to watch fall apart. I shredded like a fake decoration birdhouse of sorts as a kid when we were pressure washing our home at the time. And then imagine that being at least several times stronger and a much larger stream. And then you have the hose that you're shooting off of like a fire.
Watch a water jet in action. Like you can literally cut metal with water and pressure.
Water pressure. Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
No, thank
it's
you.
No joke, right? People don't realize it's heavy duty shit.
They laugh at it because they think like it's just a big garden hose, but
no.
That literally, like, if you fire a fire hose at a pane glass window, there's no glass there in 2 seconds.
Yeah. It's done, right?
Like it just.
Yeah, so I'm finally going to talk about things I didn't like. That's kind of like the cringy lines and some of the cringy stuff. The Evil Dies Tonight, I thought was overdone. Tommy running out of the hospital room and turning around to throw his finger up and shout "Evil Dies Tonight" while running out of the room. I was kind of like, why?
He didn't impress me too much with his performance, to be honest.
Yeah, I was a little surprised.
Me too.
And then, Marion, when she went to shoot Michael, this is for Dr. Loomis. Like what?
Yeah.
Like I just
cringeworthy.
Yeah,
cringeworthy, man.
Face palm. And then Bracket. Everyone's entitled to one good scare. Like what? Yeah. So just along that lines to finally hit some stuff that like I said in the beginning, mixed reactions. There you go. There was a ton of stuff I liked and a whole lot of stuff that just had me scratching my head.
Fair.
It's hard sometimes you're watching movies and like, you know, I always go back to in Predator. When I was a kid, this is the first reaction I had to this. Arnold throws a giant knife through a guy and he fucking goes right into the wall and he's instantly dead. And Arnold goes, "Stick around." And you're like, I remember as a kid being like, why is he talking to a dead guy? Why did he say that? And yeah, it's the same.
Yeah, but
thing.
that's awesome though.
Why are they talking the shape? Like, yeah, everyone's entitled to a good scare. Yeah. Like, you're trying to make him laugh? Are you are you trying to scare him? You can't scare him. He's not like, I agree. Totally cringy. Didn't make a lot of sense. It's one of those taglines that they can put in the trailer, but in the movie it's like, or just not.
Don't do it. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys who read the script, when I was watching this tonight, I was like, I felt they said things rather than showing things. Would you agree with that? I never read the script, so
at times, I
felt that too.
I know we don't have Mike too much longer here, and the chat is really hard to keep up with right now. I liked Tommy Doyle. I thought that Anthony Michael Hall played that character exactly how that character was supposed to be played. If you think back to, I get it, he was a kid then, but Tommy Doyle was annoying in the original Halloween movie. He was a little over the top even for a kid. And to my knowledge, that's exactly how they wanted him to be in this movie. But he was also like the trigger man. He was the guy that, well, had the absolute best intentions, ended up triggering everybody there, and they got the wrong fucking guy, and people got hurt, and Laurie got hurt again. And, it's he. Sometimes the worst things come from the best intentions. And in terms of the cringy dialogue, though, that's all over the movie.
Mhm.
I liked Tommy Doyle in this movie. I thought his role is definitely an interesting one. I know some people don't like the social commentary in the middle of the movie, but to me, the social commentary that happens in the middle of the movie is the most like realistic thing that's in this movie.
I think that he's kind of an idiot character. He's kind of, he's definitely not super intelligent. He's the kind of guy who starts a big mob, and not only does he start a big mob, he's very showy. He's like, I'm also the leader. Guys, I'm the leader of this mob. So, he was kind of annoying in that way, but I feel like that was the character. So I think you're right. I think even though people might complain about this character the way he was, it was a believable character. He was a guy who starts a mob.
Yep. Mike, we know you got a scoot, man. So where can everybody find you at?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at MichaelBish_ and on Instagram at mbish_.
I think Matt's got a scoot here too. Do you want to give us your score on the movie, Matt? And final thoughts here quickly and bail. You're muted.
He said he gives it
Again.
8 Z's out of 10. As
Said
in
he
Z's from
loves
sleeping.
Terrence. Terrence is his favorite Fandom Empire host.
Oh, hell no. I'd rather gouge my eyes out and he comes on the TV. I'm teasing. A couple of things that really stood out to me. I don't know if you know who the guy played him. Played Little Big, or the Little.
Yeah,
Little
Big.
Was the guy from
Stewart.
Mad TV.
It was
Mad
Stewart.
TV, yeah.
And oh my God, I
Michael
almost
Douglas?
wanted.
No,
after
not
he-
Michael Douglas.
something
It's
McDonald.
What's his name?
Something
Michael McDonald. It was
McDonald.
Michael McDonald.
Man, when he died, I almost want to break out. Stop! Right after he died, I so wanted to do it. I'm at 10 right now. The pacing just kind of like being a little bit of everywhere. Kind of just, I wasn't a fan, but I also knew it going into. I still think they should have done the scene differently with the mob. And I swear this movie made you to believe there was going to be more people than there were. It just didn't feel like it was. It didn't feel like there was as many kills as there were. But I guess I was a smidge disappointed in that area. I'm with Dean. I thought the fire scene was great. I'm not that idiot who posted that subpoena online. Take it out of the movie and everything. Oh my God, they're killing firefighters. Oh my God, it's acting, woman.
I see this in the chat too, and I see you saying it. I truly don't understand where people are coming from with the not enough kills. Like, I have no idea what movie you
I
guys
know
are-
there's enough, but it didn't feel like. I mean, it didn't feel like from the way they hyped it up. I mean, they had hyped up to the point like every 5 minutes Michael's killing somebody. Every 2 to 5 minutes Michael's killing somebody. He's got no
Honestly,
time to walk.
if you average it out, he basically was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's
Yeah.
ever been
I know,
this in any slasher movie.
And
Period.
I'm probably gonna have to see. Yeah, and I'm probably gonna have to see it again and everything. And I'm like, okay, yeah. But I
Well,
was just trying to
even
catch everything.
Jason's body count, which is usually very high, is usually like 10, 13 kills
10
in
to
a
13.
movie.
Yeah.
And this was 3 times.
Yeah.
Someone
Yeah.
maintained a body count of Jason and Michael Myers. I saw the meme, the list recently.
There's a
I'm
real
s-
one out there and a fake one out there right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm certain that this movie puts Michael at number 1. I'm certain.
No, it does. It does. I saw that.
I mean, 41. That's a lot.
I think it's
That's
because
like
of the
3
pacing of the
movies worth.
film.
It is.
I think you're right. It's the pacing of it that
That's throwing you off.
kind of does it and everything. Yeah. That's why I'm,
Matt, give it a
Wait.
score out of 10 and we'll exit you and Mike.
8 out of 10.
And what was yours again, Mike?
8.2.
8.5.
Good scores. Good scores. Solid scores. One more time, Mike, where can everybody find you at, man?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at @MichaelBish_ and on Instagram at @mbish_.
And Matt, one more time for you, sir. Where can everybody find you at?
And my Twitter is BuckSuckForever.
I'm
No.
sorry. Can you repeat that? Was that Buck Suck?
No, it's not what you
Forever?
thought you heard. It's Bucks. Not
He's
Bucks.
saying he
Yeah,
sucks butts.
I was going to say,
No.
that's what
Matt
it
sucks
sounded
butts
like
for the
at
rest of
first.
his life.
Matt's sucking butts forever. Oh,
No.
man.
Make sure y'all
Patty
follow
West
Sleep the
Side.
Halloween Kills tonight on Peacock.
And
Halloween.
follow Suck Butts at Twitter. That's Matt's new handle, Suck Butts.
No,
At Twitter,
no. Kieran's
Don't-
handle is Kieran Blows Brady. So
We will have a lot more on this movie over the next couple of weeks. But Mike and Matt, thank you for your contributions tonight, guys, and we'll see you again soon.
Bye, guys.
all right, buddy. All right.
Later, guys.
And
Then there were 5.
Then I removed Jason. Then there were 6. My next. And now I've lost my order. So Dean got to mention his likes and dislikes. So maybe that's what we'll call this: likes and dislikes. Kieran, I really don't know what you thought of this film yet. Still, so likes and dislikes, man.
Some of the things that I disliked, I felt like whenever they used Halloween music in this, it was a little bit overproduced. It was like changed in a way that it didn't feel as authentic. I feel like they don't need to overproduce it and make it sound better. They need to leave it. And that's how I felt about most of those things. The classic music and sound effects. I didn't think they used it as effectively as they have in the past. I disliked most of the chasing of the other patient guy. I thought it was okay when he took over the car and left and started the mob in the first place. Him committing suicide was kind of sad and tragic, especially since Karen was trying to stop it, so that was kind of whatever. But the whole storyline, I felt, it didn't serve a great purpose other than to push people to places that they wanted them to go. So I think it got a little bit too much attention. One of the big, and I don't have much to talk about it, but a big fail is the kill where he grabs the old man and smashes him into the glass window, whatever. That kill did not need to be shown in the trailer because it's a great kill, and the whole time that old man every time he walked by a glass door, you're like, "Fuck, this is it," and it did it a few times, but it ruined it because it would have been great surprise kill. Any other negatives? I don't have any other extreme negatives. I know there was a few more, but those were things that I picked out that I knew I didn't like right away. As for positives, this movie was really artsy. Honestly, it was done in a really artsy way. Some of the visuals were amazing, just ways things were shot. Cinematography was great. the use of not just the blue light, but just lighting and having different colors, I thought was great. At the end, when he does get back up and start murdering everybody, it was okay to me that it was done. I don't know about the slow motion. I could have done with maybe whatever, but I love how it was done with weird close-up camera angles where you couldn't really see it. It was really artistic to be like he gets back up and he's like, this guy dead, this guy dead, this guy dead. It wasn't shown in sequence exactly how he moved to get to everybody. It was just like, fucked. Like everyone was, I liked how they did that. I honestly thought it was great. As for the pacing, me being the one who didn't have a problem with the pacing, I really liked that every time they switched a scene really quickly and the pacing seemed like it was jumping from scene to scene, which normally I'm not a fan of. It was always mentioned that character or something mentioned like, it was said, that's not my blood, and she held up her hands, but then it went to Karen washing her hands. So it was like, there was like, I have blood on my hands, and then quickly went over to Karen washing her hands. One time when it went to Lori and her scene in the hospital, someone had mentioned Lori at the end of their sentence. I think it was Tommy Doyle talking about Karen right at the end of his speech on, he said, like Lori survived, and then it jumped to Lori. I felt like the transitions were all kind of put in there that way, where it was logical to me. It was definitely very jumpy, but they did it for a reason. I felt kind of opposite to what you guys have said about that so far. And I thought that Michael was great. I didn't have any problem with any of the acting, really. I thought that some of Laurie's acting wasn't great, but I felt her like the lines that she was given were almost all cringy. So I'm not going to fault her for it. It's not like Hayden Christensen where it's all his fault and he sucks. But had to fit that in there. All in all, you're saying, you don't know what I think of the movie. I thought it was great. I think I would give it an 8.5. I am a little bit weary, though, of that this is not going to have the same effect when I watch it at home. I think when I watch it, I mean, I won't know until I do watch it at home, but I feel like when I watch 18 and this one back-to-back at home, I'm still going to love 18 a little bit more. But, we'll see what happens. Like, I'm probably going to see it again in the next couple of days, and I'm probably going to have a different opinion then. So,
Johnny, likes and dislikes.
I mean, I'm going to start with dislikes. The big one for me, we talked about them a little bit, was Big John and Little John. There was just too much of them. That entire first sequence with the spooky Halloween music was just, I felt like it was the epitome of cringe. Like it felt like a sequence that was, not only are we progressive because we have a gay couple, that's great, but let's just shove it at you in a way that's awkward and is going to make you go, ooh. Because that's what I felt. I felt awkward with it. I didn't like it. There was just too much of them. I did not like that at all. I think they were prominently featured in 3-4 scenes. It's at least twice too many.
I liked them. I just thought maybe 2 of their scenes went on a little too long.
I think if you do the sequence where the kids knock on the door and they do the gag. And, was it Big John tells the story of Michael Myers in the house and establishes that for people who don't realize that's the Myers house. That's a great scene and okay. And then you do, obviously Michael shows up at the back door and then he's at the front door. Those 2 sequences, those 2 scenes are great. But the other stuff is just cringy and unnecessary. And I did not enjoy them despite the performances. of the two guys. Like I liked it wasn't their performances that was the problem. It was just like they felt it felt like two rom-com sequences in the middle of a horror movie. And it's not what I want.
I like them better than Julian personally.
I like them a lot, but I think that's pretty fair. Pretty fair
Something that
comment.
stood out to me.
Their part did change a lot from the script.
It did not stand out to me. I didn't even pick up. I mean, I'm looking at it right here. They appear to be a couple. It's there. It's in the original script, but it was not an element that stuck with me. Right. Also, they changed their names. They have Big Rog and Little Rog. I noticed that earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, as for other things I didn't like, there's really not too much I can point to and be like, oh God. I mean, obviously we've talked about, the mob mantra was overdone as a mob. Like, the evil dies tonight theme, I understand. From Laurie, I understand that. From the characters who experienced it the first time around, I understand that mentality because they've stared in the eyes of evil. They know that Michael is not just a human being, but Joe Schmo, like, it's a myth. It's a story for them. They may not have experienced it the first time around. They may be new to the town. They may be new people. Like, they don't need that whole evil dies tonight, evil dies tonight chanting mob mantra that was just like, ew. Like,
I think they did that wrong. I think they did that wrong because when they showed early on in the bar, they showed the crowd not really in tune with what happened in that town. Some people seem to know what they're talking about. Some people didn't. Yet it seems like pretty much everyone in town was like pretty on board with hunting someone down and going to kill them. I feel like it's unrealistic.
I think by that point, though, it was more people congregated because they were involved somehow. They were the families of the victims. They were people like that sequence where, the mother comes screaming in like, where's my son? My son. I can't remember the name, but then you see her walking through the halls in the big, we see, Oscar's mom doing that big sequence with the mob going through the hallways, and you see her in front of the, the crypt in front of the morgue, and you see the body there, and it's like, oh God, okay, it establishes some of that, but A, that's awkward. Then the morgue is never going to be a glass windowed wall like that. Like in no hospital anywhere is a morgue like that. That's the nursery, not the morgue. Yeah. But that's another issue altogether.
Maybe the morgue was full.
There were a few sequences that just kind of took you out of it that felt unnecessary, and I think those are the big ones. As for likes, there's so many. Like that's the beauty of these type of reviews and instant reaction where you can talk about them right away, where you can sort of talk yourself into things or talk yourself out of things, and it's kind of what I've done. When we first came into this, I was kind of I didn't really like it that much camp. It wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. It wasn't what I wanted it to be. But as we've sort of talked it out and talked through it, I've come to see the other side of, the cooler side of the pillow. And I don't want to say my opinions has changed drastically, but I definitely enjoy it more having talked it through with you guys than I did, just sitting and watching it in the theater.
Jason likes oh, sorry, you need to score, Johnny. Nice try. Close. But...
Oh, you missed that part when you introed me. I remember I kind of got fluffed out at the beginning there, so I didn't know we were doing scores now. 7.
That's fair. I know there's people like 7.
It was lower when we started. When we started, I was gonna be it was gonna be a soft 6, but it's up to a 7.
Jason, likes and dislikes that you haven't mentioned yet?
Well, yeah, let me start with the bad. I don't like the humor in this movie at all. I think the transition from when it's serious, like with Allison and all of them in the hospital, then it goes to these annoying couples, and every one of them's annoying. For me, I didn't laugh at all during this movie. Like, I just found them annoying, and they were just set up as to kill, really, right? And like you guys said, the one couple there, they had too much screen time. I found all their scenes annoying. I was like, I don't know. I guess I expect too much out of slashers, maybe. I'm not saying they had to be overly developed or anything like that. Just
I think I said it to you, Jason, when we were walking out, that
it,
their presence just felt like a Jamie Lee Curtis thing. Like there was so much of it
Oh,
just to sort of appease her social constructs.
yeah, and cringeworthy dialogue. Like I feel like Brackett and what's her name, Marion.
Hmm.
They're brought back for nothing really, just to say these really bad lines. It's like it reminds me of the Friday the 13th remake. Well, not as bad, but where she's like, "Say hi to Mummy in hell." Like it's just like you're giving these people horrible lines to say. I like Tommy and Lindsay. I thought Tommy was a bit over the top at times, but I just felt like there should have been more development with them.
That's fair.
Like a lot more. I thought that'd be a good time to get some maybe emotion happening somehow. It just felt like they brought all these classic characters from the original movie, but I don't think they just did much with them. I'm not big on the score either. I agree with Kieran here. The original Halloween score, I think, works so well because it's chilling and haunting because it's simple. It's very overproduced. I thought 2018 score was overproduced. I get a lot of flack for that.
Oh, this is terrible lighting.
Throw in the garbage.
Sorry, guys.
Like it's okay, but there was one part where Michael's walking and it's like this frantic piano playing going, and it did not suit the scene whatsoever. For what I like though, the flashback puts this up a whole star for me. If that's not there, this would get a rough rating, I think. The flashback is Halloween gold. I thought it was executed so well. I was really invested when it was going on. And in fact, I may be in the minority here, but I would like to see an edit where they attach that on to the original movie. Just for, like here's a special edition for people.
Someone will do it.
Yeah, I think that would be cool. I think that'd be, and I don't know about you guys. I don't think people have touched on this yet, but I absolutely, and I know, Sean, we talked about this because I did a prediction video, and someone spoiled that scene where Michael's, because someone read the script, in my comments of where Michael's in a trance. When he comes out in the flashback and he's in a trance.
Even in the flashback here, it's cut down, right? So you're not getting the full how long it's supposed to be.
Yeah, but I love that. I loved how it's still mystery. We're like, well, he kills a bunch of people, goes home, and is in a trance again. Like, we don't know. There's still that mystery. Why does that keep happening? And I really like that. And I kind of like this whole idea of the, he's not looking out. He's looking at his reflection. It's a mystery. We're still not understanding yet why is he looking, like, what is he looking inside himself, what's going on? So I did like how they added into the mythology of it and still not answered anything. I thought that was actually really, really well done. And I kind of like
leaves a lot of meat on the bone for ends.
Yeah, and
right?
I also really like Hawkins. I kind of like that idea that he went to save, like, I like that arc to save Michael, and now he's realizing, this is this pure evil. I like that whole thing. But it's just so much good and so much bad, and that's what's frustrating. I do out of 5 on my channel. I would probably give this a 3.5 out of 5. But it's a 2.5 if that flashback's not in there. Just because I think there's a lot of cringe and a lot of annoying characters, and the humor never worked for me. And the score is, it's kind of a frustrating film right now for me.
I get it. It really is one of those films you need to see again.
I think so.
to let it simmer. Tommy, any likes and dislikes that haven't been brought up yet, man?
Holy shit! What the fuck was I getting ready to say?
Wow, poor Tommy. He's exhausted.
Tommy, everyone keeps saying you're over the top. They keep saying Tommy's really over the top.
You know what?
Just throw him off the CN Tower tomorrow, Tommy. You'll be good.
I'm not going to scream into this microphone. I don't feel like doing that. I'm not going to be the one who wakes the little one up.
Good call. Good, safe call.
So, for real, you said it first, I think, Sean. There are some real pacing issues with this movie, and we can really look back to what we were talking earlier about the mob and Karen and Allison and the movements, towards the last, what would you say, 15, 27 minutes, it jumps around, right? And even with the flashback, there are some issues because of stuff they cut out. There are issues with certain things that are cut out, I think, arguably throughout the film, and it just doesn't make things fit together, nice like a puzzle. So, there's some eyebrows that can be raised there. I don't really appreciate that as much. But at the same time, I've already said, and I stand by the fact that the way this film opens, it really feels like they just, we're picking up where we left off in 2018. And I really appreciate that. This isn't a brand new Halloween, a brand new night, a brand new adventure of Michael Myers and others. It is, a continuation of what we've already had going on, and there's some merit to be found in that, right? So, as far as an overall rating, I'm going to begin this, and again, we can change this later. 7.5. Yeah, we're gonna go with 7.5.
I think that's fair. I think that's a solid rating. Again, like the pacing was my big dislike. There are some choices that I don't necessarily agree with. I think they did way. I saw someone in the chat say, I know David Gordon Green said this to in an interview, but it's simply not true. They tinkered with this movie too much. They had too much time to make changes to this movie, and believe me, especially in that last act, there's a lot of let's cut this and move it over here and move this one over here, or edit this out and replace it with something else. And I think they did too much tinkering with this one.
Repeat what you just said.
Which part? Too much tinkering?
Exactly. Because when we were beginning the stream, I don't remember if it was like 5 minutes, 20 minutes, what, we had a little blurb going on. Well, they let the film sit on the shelf for a whole year. And like, we've been saying for how long? That's exactly what they didn't do.
Nobody listens, though.
Oh my God. Nobody fucking listens at all. It's awful. They've changed so much.
Man, I'd hate to be one of those people that's watched our channel for like 2 years now, and we've like just beat it to death about Laurie not being like a super big part in this movie in terms of like length in the film, and them going to see the movie and being like, oh fuck, Laurie's hardly in this film. And there are definitely people in the chat that have been like that. So yeah, no, there are a couple of my dislikes. My likes, I really liked what they did with Tommy and Lindsay. I actually thought Judy Greer was really good in this movie. I thought Robert Longstreet, everything I've seen him in so far, he's been excellent in. So I don't have much bad things to say about Robert Longstreet. The flashback was amazing. And the ricochet bullet death, like that's just, I know like part of it's like comedic too that happened, but it's badass. I dig it. I did not go into this movie with expectations that were just insane, because as much as I like the script and the story that it tells, I knew there was going to be issues. So I can confidently say 2 hours and 22 minutes into the stream that I do like this movie. I need to see it again. My score is almost definitely going to change. It's not a perfect Halloween movie. I think it's a little better than 2018. I need to simmer with it in terms of Halloween 2. But I would still take H4 in the original over this one. So I'd give it a 7.5. I'd give it the same as Tommy. I think 7.5 is a fair score right now. And yeah. And that's the social commentary part of this movie. I am scared about where they're going to go with ends. But I thought was handled well. Like, people in panic change. People in panic do stupid shit. And this film really showed that,
It worked. You can rile up a mob very quickly and it can go chaotic, just like this one did, very easily, as proven in the world around us. And they did an excellent job of shining a light on that without shoving it down. Like, it was natural to the course of the film. It didn't feel forced. It felt appropriate. I mean, a town rising up to stop Michael actually made sense. Like, in the descriptions, like, and I'll say this now because obviously we've seen it, but when we would talk about it before, the implications that I took from it, because I'd never read the script, I never talked spoilers, I never read spoilers, I'd never watched trailers or anything like that. The implication I got from people made it sound like the entire town was going to rise up, like everybody, and this was going to be like one of those, you can see down the entire street and it's everybody with pitchforks and torches, like, and it wasn't even close to that. It was a much more I don't want to say controlled because it was a mob and mob's not controlled, but it was a much smaller sample size. I was thinking a mob on the thousands, whereas this was maybe 100 people at most, and that actually seemed appropriate for the amount of people gathered together for what was going on, rising up to face the evil within them, and everything going completely haywire made perfect sense to me.
Yeah. So, fellas, I think that's going to do it for tonight. We'll have more opportunity.
Wait. Something I really wanted to get in. How awesome was that bartender character? I loved that character.
One complaint I have that's not and it actually relates to this character, that's not the movie's fault. I thought the theater we were in sucked, and I thought the audio quality was shit. And I thought it was painfully noticeable. Remember, I didn't see Bond in IMAX. I just seen Bond in a basic 2D theater like that one. And I'm telling you, the sound was too low in that movie theater.
I mean, I didn't have an issue with it. The only time I had an issue was there was one moment early on in the film where Kieran and I both kind of looked at each other thinking the building was collapsing around us. But
there were multiple moments of that. It sounded like the drop ceiling was going to fall down.
The first time was when weird. It was like, oh God, what's going on? But then as it happened more throughout the course of the night, like, oh, I guess that's just the building.
Yeah,
Scary.
That was weird. I remember that.
Scary thoughts. Quickly, guys, everybody, 30 seconds or less around the table. Final thoughts on Halloween Kills for tonight. Dean.
I definitely need a couple more rewatches. My score right now would be an 8.5. As many things as I didn't like, I still kind of put it up there. I think if I was to rate it in a ranking right now, I'd go 78, 81, 2018 Halloween Kills.
Oh, wow. 2018 over Halloween Kills.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that surprises me. That surprises me. I think Kills just edges out 2018 for me.
Fair enough.
Kieran, your final thoughts?
Yeah. No, I liked the artsy parts of this movie. I liked the visuals. I really enjoyed even the fast pace. Like I said, I liked it. I don't know. It was great. The kills were very brutal, which was awesome. It was a very interesting take on Michael. And I think all the parts that I like about this, I definitely like. And some of the things that I don't like about this movie, I think are possible to change. So, but I think I also think seeing it in the theater, I think gave it a big boost. We'll see how it does in a home viewing. I think it might lose a little bit. Yeah, it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. I think it'll definitely rank on the top half of my list of Halloween movies. So
Yeah, I think that is completely fair. Johnny, final thoughts on Halloween Kills?
It wasn't as good as I hoped it would be, but it wasn't as bad as I was worried it would be. I mean, if you put it in sort of my favorite order of what is currently canon, this is at the bottom. Original and 18 are both higher than it. But, I mean, that's not to say that it's a bad film or anything. It's still better than, easily half of the Halloween movies we've had come before it. I mean, it's better than H2O. It's better than Resurrection. It's better than both zombie movies. Where it falls in and amongst the Thorn era trilogies, I don't know. I'd have to spend some time thinking about that. But, I mean, it's probably a 4 or a 5, maybe a 6 in order of how I like it in overall Halloween films. So it's middle of the pack. It sets us up for what comes next. That's what, I'm more excited to delve into the supernatural element now that we've gotten to it in a more organic way, I guess.
I think that's fair. I think that's very fair.
Well, how many bullets did the guy take? Like,
Yeah.
He's
tons.
I actually counted that a few times, and I have to say, like, people actually ran out of bullets in their clips in this movie. That never happens.
Yeah,
I think in the
A
end, you're going to
6-shooter
have to
with
turn.
6 bullets? What the fudge?
I think it's going to be you have to turn his mask inside out and then put it back on him and then kill him, and that's how you kill him.
It's like killing Jason in the Friday the 13th game, Sean. Somebody's got to wear the mask. Somebody's got to wear his mother's sweater, and there's got to be like 5 minutes left in the round, and all that stuff.
I do think this is the type of movie that's going to grow on people over time, or like one way or the other. Like if you dislike it now, you might really dislike it in a bit. And if you like it now, you're probably going to like it even more. It just feels like that kind of movie. I'll say this.
It's definitely bold.
Well, we will be covering Halloween Ends and its journey to either 2022 or 2023. I'm scared about Halloween Ends, and even though I'm fairly positive on this movie, I already know there's behind the scenes drama with Halloween Ends and some creative decisions, and I'm not talking about the fan base. I'm talking behind the scenes drama between the people that are making the movie. It's a little worrisome, and I hope they can end it right. But endings are really, really hard, and I don't know if I have much faith in that it's going to go well. But I'm curious to see how it's delivered anyway. Jason, final thoughts here on Halloween Kills.
Yeah, I think it's I still had, like, as much as I'm harping on it, I still had a good time with it. But it's going to be a movie. It's going to be a movie that with rewatching it, I think it's going to get worse for me. Because I need more than kills, guys. I need more, I need more than that. And I think I would just be happy if they attached the flashback scene onto the original movie. And let's let me watch that. But I hope I like it more. But it's probably middle of my ranking. So probably slap down in the middle somewhere. Stay tuned for next August because I'll be going through the whole series leading up to Ends. That's why I'm just going to do a spoiler-free review of this one.
Yeah, and you'll be able to find that on your YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, the J-Man's Movie Cave, and my Instagram is my name is Jason13.
Awesome. Tommy B, final thoughts here as we close down the night.
Halloween Kills is an exciting film. I have lots to say about it. I'm happy I don't have to finish it all up tonight. We've had a long journey to get here, it really transitions nicely into being a continuation of what we began in 2018. It's gruesome. The kills are exciting. We see Michael as a tank rather than as a sinister stalker, if you will. It's in a way a role that maybe not new, but very different from what one may be used to seeing Michael Myers doing. However, the film is not perfect. It has its issues, and I don't think anyone should look to it for perfection or anything for perfection, because we all have like different things. It really sets the. There's an interesting stage being set for ends. I don't think anyone is going to get what they may be expecting. All we can do is stay tuned and watch the news as it comes out.
And it will most certainly come. I honestly think if there's people out there that don't think Michael Myers is supernatural at this point, you're clinging to your own truth, almost as bad as like a cokehead who says he doesn't have a problem, but he has a.
It's a pretty harsh comparison.
That's pretty rough, Sean.
He has a. No, I like, to me, it's like if someone says, this is my, like, I've seen it in the chat tonight, The Last Jedi, we'll talk about that for a second. Sorry, not The Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker. Kylo Ren dies. Ben Solo dies. That's not a debate. It's factual. I'm telling you, it's factual that Michael Myers is supernatural. And if you don't think so, you didn't watch the same fucking movie as us and you're in denial, is what I was getting at. Bad reference.
I think you're just choosing cognitive dissonance, right? Until they come out and explain to us how he is supernatural, there are going to be people who say he's not supernatural.
No, you don't need to know how he's supernatural, though. That's the point.
No, I don't mean like I'm not saying we get down to the midichlorians of it all. I'm saying like just the I don't want to say the precipice, but the broad strokes, the vague illusions, like the reflection in the mirror, in the glass, in the window, those types of things that they've already started talking about. Answering those questions will get us to, I don't want to say a satisfactory answer, because there are people who are always going to complain, Michael's not supernatural, he's just a real person. And then there's going to be people who are saying he's always supernatural, it just never, you're always going to have two camps, no matter what the topic is, because that's the crazy, messed up world we live in.
Yeah, I hope they don't get too much into explaining how he's supernatural.
Hey,
I'm the type of guy that if Halloween ends...
50 Cent got shot several times, and he survived, and he's fucking, he might just be like 50 Cent. That's natural.
He got shot point blank several times and beat up by 20 people with stabs and beat with ball bats and then shot earlier on in the...
Yes, he was actually wearing a super secret Kevlar coverall that is completely bullet repellent and stab resistant and padded for baseball bat strikes.
And his fingers are still shut off.
If someone hits you with a bat, it's not going to help. It just you won't get cut, but it'll still fucking kill you.
He actually harvests organs from all his victims and just replaces them like that supernatural villain from, was it season 3?
I don't know.
I think the problem is just people have different ideas of the supernatural. I typed in the chat earlier, they were saying, oh, well, Carpenter said he's mortal. I'm like, well, mortal just means he can die. If you're immortal, you don't die. You're a god. If you're mortal, you die. There's got to be some way he dies, I'm assuming, but he's still
people
supernatural.
Mortal
in the sense that he is more than something natural. He is more than something that is possible in our world. He's beyond human. Like, he could have started off as a human. I don't know. He was a kid, but right now he can take things that humans can't take. It's not like he just got grazed in the shoulder a bunch of times. He got shot through the middle of his chest several times, It's
it would
not
make
Kevlar,
sense.
you're bleeding. You know, like
It also makes the things that Dr. Loomis, in his famous speech, I looked into the eyes of evil.
Yeah.
It makes it a bit more okay, like to see the supernatural side of that, because that kind of makes more sense. And you looked into
He's
Michael's
supposed to be
eyes and you saw
he's supposed to be the embodiment of evil. He is evil incarnate. That's the
He's the
kind of idea that
boogeyman.
we have in the past.
I've always liked the idea he's a supernatural entity trapped in a human body. And that's kind of how he gets arrested too. Like it's not like he walked out, like, oh shit, there's a bunch of police around me. Michael just wasn't there.
He gave up. Like, just
I don't even think it's a giving up thing. I think he's just not there. He's gone. He's off in his own world. He did his deed.
Well, I mean, I think that's it. He did his deed. He was done. The demon wasn't in quite, or whatever, wasn't quite as strong, I guess, at that point, and he just stood there and let it happen.
Do you guys think? Do you guys think it has something to do with the house? Because it seems like whenever he kills in that house,
could be the house.
That's when the trance happens.
Could be Haddonfield. Could be.
There's so many questions with no answers.
Yeah, definitely.
That was the whole point of Karen going up there and looking out and seeing what Michael saw, right? Like, yes, she saw that weird reflection from down there, but you can't really be sure what you see in that moment. So you go up and you investigate, and you see the town, and who knows what Michael sees or saw, or what it was.
Yeah, they did a good job.
I think they made a point
making more questions.
I think they made a point when it was it Hawkins who was saying he knew him as a kid, and sometimes when he played with him, it would look like Michael's just staring in the window, looking out, and you wonder what's looking back at him.
It was the cop that was with Hawkins, but
was it? I couldn't.
That was with Hawkins.
It was, yeah.
Okay, I mean, it was one of the two.
He had the dark hair.
Okay, I couldn't remember if it was the one that ended up dead or Hawkins. Let's be honest, they all looked alike.
Dean, where can everybody find you, man?
You guys can find me over on Facebook at Dean Renner. You'll see me very active in the Halloween fandom group that you guys were so kind to let me admin. And yeah, in the Fandom Empire Den.
Kieran, how about you, man? Where can everybody find you next?
I mean, you can find me. I got the Rick and Morty show coming up on Tuesday. I got, I'm on most of the streams here. You can find me on Facebook in the Fandom Empire Den. You can find me just on Facebook by my name. Click on it, add as a friend. If I notice you from the channel, I'll add you. You can find me on Twitter. I don't remember how. At Gogan Kieran. It's my name reversed. And yeah, I mean, you can find me here disagreeing with everyone's opinion all the time and being loud and probably being kind of a dick. That's where you can find me.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Damn, I missed that Terrence guy. Anyways, I can't believe I just said that. Johnny, where can everybody find you, man?
I can't believe you just said you missed Terrence. Oh man. Okay. No, you can find me, of course, on this channel on of course Tuesday nights. You can find me weekly at the Inside Handoff Football Podcast. Bros Before Pros. We're gonna get back to streaming Far Cry this weekend. Yeah.
Jason, one more time, where can everybody find you, man?
My YouTube channel is called the J Man's Movie Cave. Movies and music content of all sorts. Live streams, movie reviews, rankings, reactions, all that kind of stuff. Going through the Rocky review series right now, working my way through that. So you can find me there. Instagram, it's at my name is Jason13. And yeah, you guys can check me out and check the reviews, check all that kind of stuff out. It's a lot of fun, actually. I haven't given up yet, so that's good.
That's important.
This long, tiring YouTube game.
Tommy B, where can everybody find you at? Other than Canada.
Still in Canada for a few more days. But normally you can find me hanging around Fandom Empire Den, Halloween Fandom, all of our Fandom Empire affiliate groups and or pages. And you can find me personally on Twitter and Instagram at TommyB1650.
You can check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/Fandom Empire. That is the number one way you can support Fandom Empire and what we do here. Fandom Empire now on Twitter and Instagram, on Facebook's Halloween Fandom, Halloween Newsnet, Fandom Empire, and the Fandom Empire Den. Big thanks to our chat mods tonight. Big thanks to everybody who came on the show, including those that are no longer. I couldn't tell if
It's something.
The boogeyman is coming.
Don't even. Sir, it's an honor. Kill him first. Anyways, we'll see you guys next time. It's appreciated. Big thanks to Matt, Mike, Zach, Edna, and Jade for popping on earlier as well. We'll talk about this movie for the next week or two for sure, and then we'll turn our focus towards we got Dune coming up and Spider-Man No Way Home, which all I'm gonna say is people should probably really pay attention to the next few things that drop from that movie very soon. There's some inside fandom stuff early. Whoops. This is what happens when
Is
you
that a new show?
It's a Patreon show.
Oh.
We've been doing yeah. Anywho, that's gonna do it for each and every one of us. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for coming on this first part of our journey with us. We're not done. We'll see you next week. Good night. And the boogeyman has in fact came.
Hi guys, this is Terrence, Fandom Empire, and you're watching Fandom Empire Live, which Sean didn't invite me to, so it's probably going to be a piece of shit!